Hey fellas, hope you guys doing great. In today's video we will see, what if Naruto was the Darth Sith and got Harem, Part 1. Huge shout out to 666 Rick 666. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe and like the video. So let's start the story. The days of old. The days of my youth. The days of being confused, beaten and starved. The days without a purpose. I was alone, helpless, a child, who barely learned to walk, forced to grow faster, to learn how to run, steal and killed to save his life. Days of me bearing the name of one Uzumaki Naruto. I remember the glares filled with hate. I remember promises filled with lies. You are not prepared to learn the truth. You are not ready. Sometime later. Still nothing about your parents. Not today, I'm sorry Naruto. Words spoken to me by the old man. Words which I knew were lies, yet I so wanted to believe them. I remember the day when this changed, the day when I opened my eyes to the trust. You see, at my home planet power belonged to shinobi, warriors trained to kill from shadows, to bend elements to their will and seal demons into, well, that part is too early for you, my soon-to-be friend. Government in my word was presented by Kagis, leaders of hidden villages, where shinobi lived and daimyo, the leaders of the nations, kings of sorts. And in one of such villages I was born. At first I thought that my birth and darkest hour in the village's history was the reason for citizens' biased judgment of me. Truth, however, was far more terrifying. They sealed the demon inside me, turning myself in the weapon of mass destruction. They lied to me, beat me to made me into submissive slave, who bows to their every whim. Everything changed when I turned 6, when Kumo, one of the 5 great hidden villages, sent their ambassador to negotiate with us. It was a trick. They just needed a reason to get closer to the Hyuga compound. Their ambassador kidnapped young Eris and fled with her. Unfortunately, he met me that night. That night my powers first activated. I ripped him to shreds. Fearing my own deed, I fled the village. Then I heard the voice. It told me what to do. It led me to the cave, and from the darkness of the cave I re-emerged here, in the shadows of Korriban. Here the voice became voices. They whispered to me, they taught me. They armed me with knowledge and power. Here I was reborn not as Uzumaki Naruto but as something new, as Sith, as Darth Javizo. Here I trained. Here my power grew. Here in complete darkness I mastered the Sith arts like no one before me. I saw the moments of past. I saw Sith when the rule of 2 was established. I saw them in numbers building and ruining their empire. And there in past I saw him, the only one in existence, who ruled of darkness and light, the Grey Master, Darth Revan. That name may not speak anything to you, my Jedi friend. Your kind has a rather choosing memory. Your decision in recent centuries also made you less powerful. You proclaim yourselves as Knights of Republic. But how can you protect people if you are so detached from them? How can you help people if even the slightest glint of compassion should be alien to you according to your code? You are silent now, are you? Because you know that I'm right, isn't it? But let me tell you why I need your help, my dear Jedi friend. I saw Revan in my visions, and only through his fall to the dark side and then death and relearning of Jedi arts he turned into what he was. From pitch black darkness he managed to see the light, clearer than anyone. His death cleansed his sins and light embraced him once more. Why I'm telling you this? Because you will teach me in ways of a Jedi, and I promise I will set you free. So what is your answer, Master Shakti? I suppose to have a choice? A beautiful Togruta woman, bound by energy cuffs and levitated in the center of prison chambers, replied to her captor. You always have a choice, it's just the results of the other are rather unpleasant. She couldn't see her captor, only his eyes blood red with a cat-like pupil. They slightly glowed in darkness, which surrounded them. Togruta sighed. Fine. I hope it will not lead to a mass destruction like all dealings with Sith do. Good. You made a right choice. Her captor made a step into the circle of light, created by machine, which held her powerless and prisoner. He was a blonde human with an average height, but very strange eyes. Unlike Sith, who had bright golden coloring, his eyes were blood red and had a black scara. Glowing of set eyes and wide black lines on each cheek, combined with long fangs, gave him rather feral if not demonic appearance. I hope our partnership will be long and productive. Master. Cold shiver run on her back. Never before in her life she sensed such feeling of dread, except for this moment, when this young boy called her master. Shang Ti's fears were futile, but in a way still true. She had apprentices before, but Javizo was unique. He had a complete understanding of the Force, mastery over his dual-edged lightsaber, and absolutely no knowledge of positive emotions. Shakti couldn't understand how with such lack of positive life moments boy still wasn't a psychotic mass murderer. Togruta concluded that his nearly limitless curiosity was somehow to blame in current situation. Without the doubt he was the most promising student she had ever seen, shame he was a Sith. Yet like everybody he had a weakness, he couldn't empower his light side Force manipulation with positive emotion. He somehow always taped the rage and then slowly turned to the dark side. This infuriated him to no end. He wanted to be a Grey Master, but judging by his progress it would not be soon, if ever will be. He was loyal to his word. When Shakti taught him everything she knew, he let her go. But before that they had a rather interesting talk. Well, Master, I think it's a goodbye, but before that, take this. He gave her a date pad. What is that? Asked Shakti looking at the information. It looks like coordinates? That it is. Coordinates of my home world. There are people there in need of guidance and help, though I hate that place. I will not pass an opportunity to help, said Naruto. Why? Shakti was curious. She never believed that the young Sith will manage what he thought to do, but after a lot of time spent with him, he was different from every Force user she met. Nor Jedi nor Sith. So maybe he will succeed. I swore to never be like them, and not helping is what they usually do. I may be Sith, but I have principles. Shakti left him, and looking at the vanishing form of her ship, Naruto tried to reach her in force. It was his first success in light Force manipulation. I erased Shakti's memories of the planet where we trained. If she is smart enough she will be silent about our meeting. Soon I too left the Korriban. The galaxy was big and I wanted to see all of it. But wonders aside, I was alone and without money and connections, so I made one of the only possible decisions. I went to Tatooine, to meet the Hutts, or rather one particular Hutt. To say that Jabba was surprised was an understatement. When young boy passes through elite mercenaries and Jabba's personal guards it looks surrealistic. Jabba was surprised, but he knew, if I didn't kill him he still had a chance to negotiate. I said that I heard that he need a man for an odd jobs. Jabba understood me right. I became his enforcer. For several years I killed Hutts, political rivals of Jabba, thus making him nearly an owner of Hutt cartel. Power made him arrogant. He decided that I was expandable tool, and the time of my usefulness has come to an end. He thought wrong. I fled to desert, leaving the mountains of corpses behind. Everything was good until I fell to the pit. It was covered by sand from the last storm. I stood up and slowly walked to the tunnel. It was a jackpot. I found the deserted factory for droid creation. Judging by the datapage, it was created by Darth Revan. As one of his backups if his army fails him, he created several on many planets to attack his enemies' forces if they retake the planets he conquered. A very wise decision. Attack from within is always a surprise one. Yet those droids now serve me. And on my new ship constructed by them I fled to pirate sectors. I needed to meet a man named Hondo. My droids quickly beat any pirate gang into submission. After Hondo recognized my power I crowned myself as king of pirates. He did choose wisely. Credits, droids and materials soon turned into armada of pirate ships. Soon our terrorizing attacks crippled support lines of separatists and Republic both. And then after several days of meditation I received a vision. Naruto fell to the floor of his chambers breathing heavily. A strong vision ripped him from his meditation, showing him Korriban, an old temple on the other side of the planet, compared to the place where he studied under the spirits of the dead. He took his double lightsaber, attached it to his belt, and then covered himself with his black cloak. His metal boots clanged while he marched through the anger to his personal ship. He put Korriban's coordinates into computer and activated hyperspace engine. Korriban was as he last remembered it, cruel and deserted world, which craved for the blood of those who stepped on its soil, like Sith craved for battle, chaos, and conflict. It seemed lifeless, but Naruto knew otherwise. Underground dark, corrupted life, forms prepared to hunt their prey when sun will set down. Naruto smiled. Only the home world of Sith could create such perfect biological killing machines as natural predators of this world. If somebody told him that worlds filled with light side are more beautiful, he would eventually agreed, but such worlds as Korriban can give you power to surpass anyone, of course if it didn't kill you first. He walked to his destination, an old hidden Sith temple, when he heard a scratching sound to his left, slightly above him. Not stopping, he just stretched his hand in that direction and a Sith lightning violently struck his target. With whimpering sound a massive burned body fell near Darth Javizo. Predators, thought he, if they hunt using the Force, when will they finally evolve enough to understand the danger of such prey as myself? It hurts and busters my pride at the same time, that I can hide my power so well. He finally reached the temple, still deep in thought about pluses and minuses of his skills, and stepped into the darkness. He felt them the same instant. Scratching and churring sounds combined with stench of their bodies were just another sign. Rack holes. An ancient creation of the Sith plague that turned living in the bloodthirsty monsters. Javizo ignited his double lightsaber and charged forward. Speed and quick reflexes were his only means to survive the fight, so he moved his weapon so fast that from side it looked like a hissing red circle. Naruto also understood that using force in such a fight is a double-edged sword. If he used his more powerful moves there was a chance of bringing down the roof of the temple, thus effectively burying him, rack halls and the very secrets the temple had. Using something less powerful was futile. While he will burn one of them others will deal with him. He looked around and plan formed in his head. He jumped amplifying his powers with the Force and from air attacked his enemies with Force Storm. Cave was filled with burning and smoking bodies of the rack halls. While he used the lightning, Naruto managed to notice that one of the sectors of the cave is protected by some sort of shield. He silently landed on the floor and went in that direction. Barrier passed him without any resistance. He found a statue of the Sith behind it. Somehow Naruto knew that figure covered in robes was male. Only noticeable trait was a mask, which resembled a Mandalorian helmet. Naruto was so focused on statue that he didn't sense any danger, so when force push forced him into the wall he was very surprised. He managed to get out from the hole in the wall and finally see his opponent. It was a Rakhal, but unlike his wild brethren this one stood on his two legs firmly. His appearance was also somehow off. The beast seemed more aware of surroundings of himself, and eventually, it somehow knew the ways of force. He heard about such Rakhals. Their appearance was lastly noted in times of the Old Republic. Jedi called them Nekhals. Strange, thought Naruto, if it is Nekhal, he must. Your life comes to an end, grave robber. Low, raspy voice lived the maws of the beast. Here it is, he can speak. Fascinating. Instead of an answer, Naruto ignited his lightsaber. Nekhal get a dark, wide blade attached to his back. Sparks of electricity covered it. The beast was fast and strong, but Naruto's muscles, amplified through demonic rituals of Karama and trainings of the Sith, were enough to hold his position. Nekhal fought violently. His anger made him stronger. His talent in dark side seemed nearly natural, but he had no style and flexibility. His attacks were so predictable that even the youngling could defeat him, if fought properly and being not intimidated by his looks. Naruto ducked under massive clawed hand and threw his blade forward right in the center of the wide Nekhal's chest. The heat pushed him into the wall, and using his moment of disorientation struck him with force lightning. Leaving the fried corpse of his fallen enemy behind, Naruto turned to the statue and, while walking, stretched his hand. His lightsaber jumped into his palm and he attached it to his belt. When Naruto moved closer he found out that near the statue was small altar, like cube. When he made a step to the statue he felt something, as if somebody's eyes looked at him, like he was not alone in this place. It wasn't like anything he felt it already, in darkness of the tombs, where he was trained. Show yourself, spirit. I'm not afraid of you. You will answer to my questions and reveal the mysteries of my vision. Darkness became thicker until it materialized into the form of a figure, a very familiar one, the one in whose honor the statue was built. Who dares to defy my slumber? Who dares to wake up the Darth Revan? Fate has very cruel humor. Lightning struck Naruto suddenly and violently. With a moan he fell to his knee. Forcing himself, he raised his hands. I will not fail. I will not yield, thought he, while rising on his legs. Ghost of Revan just doubled the power of the lightning, forcing him on his knee once again. Suddenly attack stopped. Naruto felt how icy cold hand raised him into the air. It may have been worse. At least this one has guts, heard he. Revan threw him to the foundation of the statue. Rise, flesh of my flesh, it's unbefitting of my descendant to kneel before the shadow of the past. Descendant? It was hard to breathe. Damn ghost certainly broke something inside him. I'm just some bastard child from backwater planet. How can I be your descendant? Force moves in mysterious ways, young one, but meanwhile take this. By the move of his hand, stone cube opened, revealing holocron, the gift of knowledge, young one. Right now I'm not as powerful as before, but through you my power too will grow, and I will manage to help you more. Now leave this place, will crumble soon. With those words, Ghost disappeared, and Naruto, after taking holocron, left to his ship. Naruto's personal ship. Hyperspace. Feeling pain from healing burns, Darth Javizo meditated near holocron. His experience with dealing with those who trespassed the borders of life was rather limited. He needed guidance, and he knew where to start searching. Computer, download coordinates of Dathomir. I need a consultation from Mother Talzin. Meanwhile on Dathomir, Mother Talzin meditated, trying to reach her new acolyte Asajj Ventress. She felt that returning her to the sisterhood was the only thing that could save them. With Dooku and Sidious on their tails and no powerful enough allies, creating a back-up in Ventress was her only option. If others shall fall, she will survive. Talzin knew it, she survived worse. At this moment, she felt that somebody tried to reach her in force. She opened her mind enough to start the talk. She felt the crazy mix of dark and light force, power that she never felt before. And then came the voice. Mother Talzin. She heard whispering voice of intruder. I need your consultation. Consultation? Witches of Dathomir are only ones with experience of talking to spirits. I need your guidance. Mother Talzin smiled, and what will I gain from it? Support from Pirate King. Interested? Pirate King, she heard rumors about him. Warrior in dark robes, who united pirate and mercenaries under his banner. He also had an army of battle droids backing him up. If they fortified Dathomir, she will swear her allegiance to him. I will be on Dathomir in 2 days. I need time to get droids. Dathomir. Temple of Sisterhood. It has been 4 days since the negotiations between Mother Talzin and Darth Javizo. Battle droids created fortifications, while Zobrix, who were under control of Mother Talzin, retaught by Darth Javizo. Right now those two created the plan to help Ventress reach Dathomir. So Hondo will smuggle her here along with weapons and materials, stated Naruto. Yes, replied Mother Talzin, and here she will be born anew. Spare me the details, Mother. I still have too much in my hands to deal with. I need to put viruses in CIS computer system. I need to sabotage the cruisers. All these things will not do themselves. Coruscant. Jedi Temple. Worried by rising activity of smugglers, mercenaries, and pirates, Jedi Council tried to create a new strategy. Their rising activity near Dathomir is suspicious, said Master Windu. Agreed, said Master Kenobi. We should send somebody there, and we shouldn't forget that Dathomir is a den of Mother Talzin. I do not know how, but I can sense that these facts are connected. Right you are, Obi-Wan, stated Master Yoda. Suspicious, is it? Send there, somebody must we. Master, I was on Dathomir and ended it bad. Master Sakura will go instead. Master Yoda, everybody turned to only Togruta in the room. Please, let me go with her. I sense that I must go too. Such situation was suspicious. Fear sense I within you, Master Shakti, but nevertheless go you must. Took to Padawans with you, Barriss Offee and Ahsoka Tano, on mission their mentors are, and work together they did. Great results were. Shakti and Ayla Sakura nodded and left the council chambers. I hope the right chose they were. said Windu. Yoda sighed, not from Dathomir danger sense I, but from old enemies ours. The beast unleashed was, survived they meetings with him, that's why sent them I did. Grievous, whispered Jedis across the room. Yoda nodded sense his bloodlust I did. Pray for good only can we. Ahsoka, Ayla, Shakti and Barriss went to the shipyard. Suddenly Shakti raised her arm. Wait a minute, we need to wait for someone. For whom, Master? Ahsoka asked the question that was in everybody's mind. For me. Soft female voice made them turn their heads to left. She was covered by black cloak and her face was covered by hood. All that they managed to see was her mouth and threads of dark hair. I found her on her home world and saved from abusive relatives, who nearly branded her as slave. She was too old to be sent to Jedi Order, but her potential started to reveal itself, so I trained her in secret. I was afraid that she can hurt somebody even without her knowing. Said Shakti, right now she helps me in search for information. Ayla face-palmed. I will not remind you that this is against the rules of the Jedi, but in her case, not doing something will be far more disastrous. Thank you, Ayla. Hinata dear, you can show girls your face. Now named Hinata lifted her hood, revealing a very beautiful face alongside her strange silver eyes and long dark hair. 5 females slowly get into the shuttle. Meanwhile, in Separatist sector, Grievous proudly looked at limitless lines of his droid army. Soldiers that don't require sleep or food and upheld their duty instantly. Also, they follow orders to a word. Buzzing sound from hollow projector returned him to reality. He reached to it and activated it, receiving a 3D image of Count Dooku. General, my spies found out that Ventress went to Dathomir. You must hunt her down alongside the Night Sisters and Mother Talzin. If Grievous could still smile, he definitely would. Finally, was his reply. Lieutenant, sent orders to the forces and prepare my ship. I have a pest to deal with. Orbit of Dathomir. Ahsoka lead the ship out hyperspace near the Dathomir. So Master Shakti, why you decided to go? Elder Togruta raised her brow. Why do you think that I have some personal concern in this mission? Ahsoka smiled. Because you said so a moment ago. Shakti sighed. You are right, I have a personal concern. Just before the Clone Wars, I taught a young warrior in the ways of Jedi. Then why isn't he with us? Asked Barriss. Because he is a Sith, replied Shakti. A strangest one, who I met, but a Sith nonetheless. Why didn't you tell the consul? Angrily asked Ayla Secura. And how do you think I will report this? By the way, recently I was kidnapped by a young Sith warrior, who was interested in learning the ways of Jedi. He nearly instantly mastered them and also took my memories of where I met and trained him. Yeah, said Ahsoka, I can imagine their faces. You still didn't tell us why you lied about sensing something, reminded Ayla. I didn't lie. For a brief moment I sensed him on Dathomir. Shakti didn't tell her companions about her suspicions. Her apprentice was a smart boy, so without a doubt he wanted them come. When they landed, they found out that once full of swamps and forests, Dathomir's soil was also bearing fortresses, which judging by the mark belonged to pirate armada. What are they doing here? Asked Ahsoka. I don't know, but possible information of their operations will be good for Republic, said Shakti. Their ships ravaged the supply lines of both Republic and Separatists. They are a wild card in this war. They slowly got away from the fort, to the castle of Night Sisters. Master. Silent whisper, a very familiar voice made Shakti wary, and not only her. Other also heard his voice. Where is he? Whispered Hinata. She wasn't new to infiltration missions, that was her forte, when she helped Shakti acquire information, but working with other Jedi and dealing with Sith was completely new to her. Everywhere, Hinata-chan. Voice was slightly familiar to Hinata, but she couldn't remember when and where she heard it. Chan? Whispered Ahsoka. It's a suffix used in my native language. It used to showing affection and forget it, we are not on language lesson. But how does he know my name? Yes, how? Tell her, master, tell her the truth. Truth? Ayala turned to Shakti. What does that Sith mean? Shakti I sighed. Basically, he was the one, who told me how to find Hinata. He gave me coordinates of his home world. He said that people there need me. His actions saved you." Hinata turned to figure in dark robes. "I don't know what to say. Master always told me that Sith are evil. Everything is so confusing." "Evil? There is no such thing, Hinata. There is only power and people, who use said power for different goals. After all, 12 years ago you wasn't so disappointed when I used this power for first time." He reached for his hood and pulled it back. If in one of her many adventures Hinata had met a creator of all, she wouldn't be so surprised like at that moment. The boy, who she admired, who saved her life, was a Sith, a pirate. He was all things she would never suspect he would be. She fell to her knees and cried. She couldn't tell from what, from sorrow of what he turned into or happiness, that he was all right and well. "You!" Ahsoka was always impulsive, so when Hinata, who she already started to respect in some way, fell to her knees and cried, she acted on instinct. She ignited her lightsabers and attacked Javizo. What happened next surprised everyone. Javizo stretched his hands as if he tried to catch the lightsabers, and he caught them. Ahsoka's eyes became as wide as dinner plates. She looked at her blades in Javizo's arms unbelievingly. Green blades cannot pierce his hands. She saw the tint white glow that protected his hands. "It's impossible. The Force is so potent that it could be seen by naked eye. It's beyond everything I was taught," thought Ahsoka. "You never told us he can do something like this," screamed Ayala to Shakti. "I never knew," screamed back to Gruda. Meanwhile Javizo smiled at frightened face of Ahsoka. "Look at them. Masters of the Force, my ass. They think that everything, that beyond their pathetic minds is impossible. They think that their knowledge of the Force is complete, infinite, that there is nothing to explore. Let me teach you all a lesson every Sith knows. There is nothing impossible. When Force is with you, you just need a bit of passion." He grabbed Ahsoka's blades and started to push. Under Ahsoka's frightened gaze, Javizo slowly pushed her blades back into hilts. Ahsoka was so surprised that when Javizo got off her blades she just fell to her knees breathing hard. "Let me ask you something, my master. Your Jedi code denies feelings and any kind of attachment, yes?" asked Javizo. "Yes," replied Shakti, while she and Master Sakura ignited their lightsabers. "But why do you want to know?" "I will tell you later." Javizo didn't show any kind of worry. "Now tell me, do you love your order?" Both females raised their brows. Barriss, who treated Ahsoka and Hinata, nearly dropped the medicine from surprise. "Yes," replied both females with worry, already understanding that his words are as powerful as Force on his side. Ha! It was so sudden that Barriss ignited her lightsaber and Shakti and Ayala raised theirs in protective position. "You deny feelings and passion, but you love your order, which means that you in a way are traitors to your cause." Instead of answering, Ayla just charged at Javizo. But her blue lightsaber was blocked by Javizo's red one. They struggled for several moments, until Shakti attacked from the air. Javizo looked up and just smiled. He ignited the second edge of his lightsaber, successfully blocking her attack. He looked at their faces, lightened by red and blue, and noticed how strange their faces looked. Because of game of light and shadow on this world, it was also strange that their skin color was blue and red just like the ignited blades. His way of thoughts was interrupted by explosion. "What was that?" asked Barriss, getting attention of everyone on the field. "Looks like Dooku decided to send his killing machine," said Naruto. "Grievous," said Ahsoka, who finally returned to her senses, with disdain. "WL, looks like our time together was cut short. I'm needed there to protect my investments," said Javizo. "You are free to go or join us on the battlefield." "And lose a chance to stop Grievous?" "I'm in," said Ahsoka. "No, Ahsoka, you are not," said Ayla. "I promised that I would return you to your master alive and well, and I intend to do so." "But..." "No buts, Padawan. I'm staying." Everybody turned to Hinata. "I'm staying," said she once again. Hinata. "No, master, I'm thick of running. I will stay and fight those droids alongside Javizo." "He is just a Sith. Is he worthy of you risking your life on this war?" asked Ayla. Hinata turned to her. He saved my life. It's time to pay my debt. Battlefield. Grievous looked how his army battled undead, Night Sisters, and pirates. He couldn't believe what he saw. They were slowly pushed back. He growled. First, his flagship is blocked by a more mobile pirate fleet on the orbit. Next, the fortresses with a lot of really big guns. On the fucking medieval planet. Grievous made a deep breath and coughed. Waiting for me? If he could smile, he would. Ventress was always impatient. One-on-one fight? Please, wench, we both knows who the better warrior is. His cloak fell to earth and Grievous activated his 4 lightsabers. He used his ordinary strategy. He started to spin first pair to disorientate and terrify his opponent. In fight with him, even one mistake was enough to die. Ventress knew this, but her powers and skills with sword were not enough to stop this beast of a general. Even heavily outnumbered, he still managed to hold them back. Hold! Such power was in the voice that even Grievous stopped his onslaught. Who are you, whelp? Angry Cyborg was not in the mood for negotiations. Call me benefactor. I'm here to give you a chance to escape. Grievous laughed. Escape? I have a battle cruiser on the orbit of this miserable planet. One my word and you will be toast. Oh? A battle cruiser? Must be really scary. But the real question is, do you have something like this? What do you mean? Try to get in contact, and you will understand. Malevolence, respond. Respond. You hear me? All he could hear was silence. The main problem in having droids as your army is the sabotage. You never know when your enemy will put a virus in their processors. So you don't have this battle cruiser, it's mine now. With zooming sound, blue and green lightsabers activated behind them. There is only you and your guards. With me are Jedi, Night Sisters, and pirates. You are outclassed and outnumbered. You have 2 options before you. Either you take your guards and try your chances in space on that ship behind you, or you will face my allies, and if we fail bombarding from my cruiser. Choose wisely. Grievous took his cloak and marched to the ship near, and then he suddenly turned and looked at them. This is not the end, and you, he turned to Naruto, I will hunt you down, take you alive, and dissect you personally. You have rather violent and disturbing fantasies, General, replied Naruto. Laugh while you can. Sith. Naruto, surrounded by his allies, looked at the ship of General Grievous, which slowly became just a small spot in the sky. We freed Dathomir, but I fear that he may return, said Mother Talzin. I will leave Mother, and try to find my path, said Ventress. Hey, you are still a wanted criminal, said Ahsoka. She is my ally, Ahsoka, and last time I checked I have the large battle cruiser on the orbit, said Naruto. Yeah, that's an argument. So Ahsoka, you will go left, and we will go right, or in other words you return to Coruscant, and I will go to my new flagship. Several days later. Dathomir. Mother Talzin waited for them. So when she met him when he got out from his ship, he wasn't surprised. Savage. Where is your brother? Asked she. Inside, replied Savage, a massive Zabrak warrior, clad in dark armor. He is not in the right state of mind. Don't worry, she created a glowing sphere of green energy. I will deal with it. Green sphere floated into the depth of the ship and soon returned with Darth Maul in his spider state. Now, continued Mother Talzin, a bit of magic. Through manipulation of energies, she levitated Maul's body into the air and replaced his spider half with robotic legs. Improved and healed Maul lied on the stone altar where Mother Talzin started her magic. Savage moved to the altar looking at the unmoving form of his brother. Suddenly Maul's arm gripped Savage's neck. Be our brother? Muttered Savage, with his neck nearly crushed by Maul's hand. Yes, brother. Maul let Savage go. He got to his legs slowly. He wasn't adjusted to them yet. He ran. Brother, wait! Savage ran after his brother. Maul stopped near the cliff. How long was I on that miserable planet? Was his first question to Maul. More than 10 years, brother, replied Savage. 10 years. I sensed the turmoil in the Force. Must be the echo of Clone Wars. Clone Wars finally started, without me. I was a student of most powerful being in the known galaxy, and here I am crippled, cast aside, replaced by somebody who wasn't even a Sith. Darth Tyrannus, bah! Jedi couldn't fully grasp the concept of the dark side. Savage put his hand on his brother's shoulder, making him turn his head. We can make them fear you again, we can. Rematch, interrupted Maul. He raised his hand and lightsaber jumped into it. We can do many things together, but first of all I need rematch. Kenobi will suffer. Several days later. Cantina in Outer Rim. Ventress never thought about becoming a bounty hunter. She also never thought about becoming apprenticed to the Sith Lord, or Dathomir's Witch or anything else. She never thought about her future, before. Now, as respected and successful bounty hunter, she often thought about the future. What will happen after the war? Will she continue to hide and other things? Though her thoughts were positive, she didn't have any bright illusions about her future. If Sith will win, she will be killed by them. If Republic wins, she was still branded as war criminal and will be treated as such. Hey, look at this guy, looks scary, but his bounty. Savage? Oppress? What the fuck did he do? No matter, he is mine. Ah, old debts, this time with a lot of credits as price. Get off, boys. He is mine. Ventress took the contract and left Cantina. She still felt strange throbbing feeling, like something in future will be really unpleasant for her. Meanwhile with Zobrix. What should we do, brother? Asked Savage. Very simple, brother. Jedi will react if we will attack their precious settlements, full of innocent people. After all, killing children while being in contact with Jedi Temple is a big no for them, replied Maul. Brothers slowly left the landed ship. They saw a female who walked in their direction. Finally, I hope you brought enough supplies for. Wait, you are not from usual crew, who are you? Instead of answering, brothers activated their lightsabers. Several hours later. Jedi Temple. Your decisions were rather illogical, Master Shakti, said Mace Windu. We understand your motives behind your silence, but you will be punished. Your position as overseer of clone facilities will get Master Sakura. Usually we would send you to a pilgrimage or long-term mission. But we are on war, and Jedi of your power and experience will come in handy as our personal agent. Mace sighed. Your apprentices, on the other hand, they are either with us or against us, is it clear? Yes, replied Shakti. Master Windu. One of the Jedi busted into the console chambers. We have incoming transmission. Moments later, all members of Jedi Council looked. How Darth Maul executed people in Hollow. Transmit ion. Bring me Kenobi, or I will burn your world till nothing but ashes will remain. How, muttered Kenobi. How could he survive being cut in half? Powerful your enemy is, but do not know we, if truly hit it was, said Master Yoda. Still I'm going, said Master Kenobi. Not alone, interrupted Mace Windu, we will send a group with you. Not this time, you saw what happened. This is crazy and bloodthirsty animal. Once I defeated him, and I can do it again, replied Obi-Wan. I'm against it, without a doubt it's a trap, said Mace Windu. Against my own beliefs, agreed am I, said Yoda, who slowly walked from shadows behind them, and, what once started, Obi-Wan must. Thank you, Master, I will go to Redonia. Obi-Wan bowed and left the chambers. Master Yoda, if it is truly Darth Maul, then this is too important and dangerous to deal alone, said Master Windu. Not alone, Kenobi will be. Surprising ally will he get, replied Master Yoda. Trust and force must we. With Obi-Wan. Kenobi get his ship out of the hyperspace near Redonia. When he tried to land, he saw fires far ahead. It was a plain and simple, want to find Maul, follow the dead bodies. Speaking of the dead bodies, when Obi-Wan left his ship, they were everywhere. He saw how Astrodroid constantly bumped into the wall, like he was disoriented or simply gone mad from loss. Judging by everything around, it was possible. Bodies lied everywhere, buildings were burning, scenery looked like some nightmare. All in all, Maul knew his work. Kenobi! He stood in front of burning building like darkest nightmare turned flesh and blood. His lower half was replaced by augmentics and looked asymmetrical, bigger than upper half. Excuse me, should I know you? Till the last moment Obi-Wan don't want to believe his eyes. They can deceive after all, it was the first lesson he learned. How fast had you forget the man who killed your teacher Qui-Gon Jinn? Replied Maul. It's you after all, whispered Obi-Wan. Well, it doesn't matter, I defeated with you once, and I will do it again. Obi-Wan, still such a fool, turned around. Wah! He sensed an enemy's presence behind him too late. He turned just in time to see the armored fist. Strike was powerful enough for Obi-Wan to fell on his back. Slightly disoriented, he managed to see his new opponent. You! It was his final words before another strike from Savage Opress forced him into darkness. Zabrak's ship. Obi-Wan returned to his senses from hard kick to his ribs. He felt how hand grabbed his hair and raised him. He opened his eyes to see Maul's face. I will make sure that you are staying in your conscious, while I cut you piece by piece, said Maul, activating his lightsaber and pinning Jedi down with his metal leg. Ki. I approve of new legs, makes you seem higher than you are, replied Obi-Wan. With loud roar, Maul threw him in the boxes, to his left. Raise up the ship, brother. We are leaving, said he to Savage. Higher Zabrak nodded and went to the cabin. Nobody saw how slender dark figure with two glowing red blades jumped into the rising ship. Now where were we? Started Maul, staying over unconscious Obi-Wan, before being interrupted by confident female voice. Well, looks like my former slave is still an animal, such shame. By the way, who is your friend? My brother, replied Maul. He at least already half human, could not say the same about you, said Ventress, vanishing in shadows. Who is she, brother? Asked Maul. Dathomir's witch. She betrayed me. They turned their heads to the sound of opening and closing doors, which led to Pilot's cabin. Naturally, they followed. She emerged once again, now near Obi-Wan. Kenobi! Don't tell me they already beat all fire out of you. She slapped him several times. Ventress? What are you doing here? By the look on the things, saving your life. How sweet of you. Smug voice of Darth Maul sounded from above. He stood before the doors to the cabin, while Savage emerged from the shadows behind Ventress and Kenobi. They rose to their feet and Ventress threw one of her blades to Obi-Wan. Don't scratch. You will return it, said she. Don't worry, red is not my color. Ventress charged to Savage, while Obi-Wan engaged Maul. Savage was strong, but his size was liability in this limited space. Maul on the other side used the advantage of his metallic legs. Kenobi followed him to the second floor, where he once again managed to evade all attacks from the Jedi, and when he ducked under Obi-Wan's sword he got behind his back and with a powerful kick sent him down to the first floor. He rose to his feet shaking from the impact. Behind him jumped Maul, already prepared to battle. Meanwhile Savage managed to disarm Ventress. She managed to evade his attacks, but it couldn't last forever. Kenobi stepped to the left, evading attack from Darth Maul. Suddenly he saw his lightsaber attached to Maul's belt. Using the Force he summoned it. Ventress! She turned her head in the direction of the scream. Catch! Her lightsaber, that she gave to Obi-Wan, was very appreciated. She was armless against armed Sith after all. Ventress and Obi-Wan managed to regroup near the cabin doors. We will not win here, said Obi-Wan. We must retreat. They got to cabin and closed the doors behind them, but they were pierced by two red lightsabers. Faster, Obi-Wan! Screamed Ventress. Or we will be cut to pieces by those two maniacs. They left the ship just barely. That was close, said Ventress. Yes, replied Obi-Wan, but now we are both hunted. Meanwhile with Zabraks. What should we do now, brother? Asked Savage. We wait. But brother, Jedi will know about your return. They will hunt us. I hope for this, replied Darth Maul. Unknown location. You cannot sleep, Naruto? Hinata, I already told you. I know that you chose a new name, but please. Okay. Maybe you will tell me what happened on our home planet. Well, aside from Yandaime and his wife being alive, also being your parents, and you having a twin sister? Nothing special. I sensed the plot through force, but I couldn't get all threads I needed. What do you think about them? They are rather unique. But your sister was really sweet and kind, and I could sense that she has great power in the Force. My sister, and without a doubt a Jedi, and I can sense that she is also Jinchuriki. This will be hard. You are right, I managed to find out that they sealed Yin half in you and Yang half in her. Naruto rose from a bed he shared with Hinata. Something is wrong, Naruto? I can sense your worry, and it's not connected to your relatives. I can sense the storm coming, said Naruto. It's good that I managed to acquire cortosis and scales of Zyro Beast for my new armor and slight coating of my lightsaber hilt. I will need all I can in upcoming battle. Naruto looked at the new bounties in his achieves. Is it true? He asked one of his henchmen. Yes, sir. It's made by CEO Jabog from Rim Commercial Mining. They killed one of his agents. He lost money because of this, and anything that threatens his precious money he destroys. Naruto slowly went to his personal chambers. Should I do something about this? Or not? Thought he, sitting behind his table. You should, flesh of my flesh. Familiar voice made him raise his head. For father? I can sense that this Bogue, as you called him, have something of value in his possession, something mine. I heard that he has an habit of having some trophies, from dirty deals, where he betrayed foolish from his point of view, partners. Remains from assassins and some weapons, which belonged to ancient warriors. Maybe he is somehow gloating about this. Like they are dead, and I'm here sitting on a lot of money with their weapons decorating my walls. You should not get bothered about his reasons. He has my mask. Coruscant. Jedi Temple. Why did Jedi Council summon you, Master Salmara? Young dark-skinned boy asked his master. Master Salmara, young, looking dark-skinned female replied. I don't know, my Padawan, but I fear it is connected to Darth Maul. Darth Maul is dead. We thought so too. Master Obi-Wan cut him in half. And Maul. Both his halves fell into the reactor's pit. His legs weren't connected to his body. Swinging his arms, said Padawan. Nobody arguing with this Dre. I doubt that both parts survived. I don't think that there is a Sith but running across the galaxy, waiting for some kicking. But how can somebody survive this? Hatred is hard to extinguish. Darth Maul is burning from inside because of his anger. I imagine this anger, this fury, empowering him and sustaining his life, and this anger. I don't know how and where, with time just grew. Doesn't matter how crazy it sounds, Padawan, but Dark Lord of the Sith, after being on the verge of life and death, can become stronger, and much more dangerous, replied his master. Council Chambers. Jabog is the CEO of Rim Commercial Mining, one of the largest mining companies in galaxy. Uranium that they extract is used everywhere from here to the tin gel, said Master Ki, Adi Mundi. Jabog put a bounty on heads of Darth Maul and Savage Opress, said Master Windu. But how did he manage to find out about existence of Maul? Asked Master Salmara. This is what we must find out, Master Salmara. Currently he is visiting one of his great mines on Murjon. Leave immediately. Find out what Jabog knows about Maul, and where he found this out. We don't want to anger him. He is a very influential person. It would be very good to have him as our ally. Hopefully, you would proceed with caution, replied Master Windu. Of course, Master Windu, replied Salmara while bowing. Her companion, Jedi Master Judd, a blue-skinned reptilian creature, asked a question of his own. What if the information from Jabog will lead us to brothers? Searching for them Master Kenobi is, said Master Yoda. Get in contact with him you must, and aid him you will, if a reason will be, Master Judd. But do not let search for Maul lessen your attention to Jabog actions, said Master Windu. He transported to Murjan so much private security forces that they are comparable to a small army. Since he had opened his mine, locals are suspiciously silent. Find out if there are any reasons to worry. And if it is so? Asked Master Judd. Follow the Force and act as you think right, replied Windu. May the Force be with you all. Murjan. Black ship landed on the brown stones of Murjan. Two figures covered by black cloaks get out of it. Do you think it's wise to get in this fight, brother? No, brother. But we can't let this farce to continue. You said yourself that Sith operate in shadows. I'm prepared for Jedi to come and engage us in combat. But I will not waste my time on greedy bastard, who strikes from shadows and hires bounty hunters. But risks. Do I feel cowardice, savage? Only the voice of reason, brother. I prefer to live with bounty on my head than walk right to death. Bounty will cease to exist when there will be nobody who will pay for it. Brother, called Savage. He stood near the end of the cliff looking at the lines of the soldiers in yellow armor. He has an army. Looks like he needs to protect himself from something, said Maul. Brothers got down from the cliff and went to the lines of the soldiers. Hey, what do you need? Asked one of them. Maul whispered something to his ear. Like a puppet he went to the post of commanding officer. So what did they want? Hey, what are you doing? Screamed officer. I don't know, said soldier and pushed the activation button on thermo grenade in his arm. Now brother, we act like Sith, said Maul to his brother, while they walked surrounded by fire and burning people. Spreading panic. Spreading fear. They activated their lightsabers. Spreading terror. Spreading chaos. They unleashed their fury on remaining security forces. Meanwhile in the mine. Oh, that's what I like. Our product transports, everyone is busy, said Jabog looking at the mining process. Our profits are astronomical. Jabog, sire. He turned his head to speaking commando. 2 terrorists attacked the mine, they are already halfway here, it's time to evacuate you. Preposterous, Captain, said Jabog. Invite our guests in. In a moment, sire. Force push from Savage Oppress got him back in the room. Now. Started Jabog, I remember putting bounty on the heads of both of you. I hope you don't want to take it yourselves, pray shouldn't be like this. It taunts us? Asked Savage. Kill it, barked Maul. Wait, Bogue couldn't continue because Savage sent him to lava pits via force push. Brothers looked how screaming form of Jabog was falling to lava pits, until he stopped in midair. A Jedi, said Savage. Correction, brother, the Jedi, said Maul looking at 2 masters and Padawan. Get me up, screamed Jabog, get me up. Let him be, brother, said Maul. Now kill them, screamed Jabog to his security forces, while Padawan helped him to rise up. Wait, said Master Salmara. She raised her head to see the brothers, who stood on the balcony above. Darth Maul, my name is Salmara. I want to deal with this matter in diplomatic way, avoiding senseless bloodshed. Let's talk, said she to the Sith. What do you propose? Replied Maul. I propose you to lower your weapon and surrender. I promise that before fair trial you will not be harmed. Brother let you speak and that's all that you could say. Instantly exploded Maul. He activated his lightsaber and pointed it at the Jedi. You lost your chance to beg for mercy, Jedi. Now you will die. Yeah, very diplomatic approach, commented Master Judd. You should have listened to her. Cold voice behind them make everybody turn or move their eyes to its direction. Figure in black cloak and strange armor, which look like scales attached to each other and coated in strange black metal. And who are you? Asked Maul. There is a profession, to get rid of the trash in the galaxy, said Figure, while lightsaber appeared in his hand and bright red blade got from the hilt. Enraged by taunt, with loud battle roar, brothers jumped from the balcony. They landed and instantly stretched their hands, sending a double force push in direction of the crowd of people. Force push easily sent flying security forces, but Jedi Masters prevailed over it, while Padawan and Jabog, after a little struggle, were sent into the air too. They were caught by the only unaffected person on the bridge, the one covered by black cloak. "Thank you, Lord Javizo, deal with you gives results nearly instantly," said Jabog. "You better not trick me, dwarf, or what happens with those two will seem like vanilla ice cream to you, compared to my unleashed wrath," said now revealed Darth Javizo, through gritted teeth. Laughing loudly, Darth Maul, followed by his brother, struck his enemies left and right. "Enough!" roared Master Judd, striking them from above. Brothers instantly blocked his assault with their lightsabers. "Ugh!" groaned Master Judd when Maul hit him into the nose, with the hilt of his lightsaber, forcing the blood to flow from his nostrils, as result. Judd smiled, showing his long sharp fangs, while wiping out blood with his clawed hand. "It has been a while since I met a worthy opponent," said Judd. "Our meeting will not last long," said Savage, while his brother deflected blaster shots. Judd just slid on the floor, and while Maul managed to foresee his attack and evade it by making a salto and landing behind Judd, Savage was not so lucky. Judd hit his knee and Zabrak fell to the floor from sudden pain. "Your brother is too reckless, Maul," said Judd, while Sith and Jedi crossed their blades. "He lacks focus as much as you lack your legs." Force push from Savage threw them in different directions. "Jedi," muttered Javizo, "so much pathos." "Oh yeah?" said Dre, "maybe you can do something about it." "But of course, Padawan. Now observe, divide." Naruto moved one of the barrels, which stood near wall, behind the lines of security forces, and threw it into Savage. "What?" said he, and prepared to cut it in half. "Brother, no!" screamed Maul. "It's carbonite." His warning was a little too late. Savage has already cut the barrel, and streams of carbonite froze him in his place. "And conquer," ended Javizo. "Now that's one really good sculpture. Like a monument to raw power and fury in all Sith, who were, are, and will be." "What do you think?" he asked Master Salmara. "Pretty good move," she praised. "I'm not talking about my move, I knew it was smart, I'm about, forget it. To think that Jedi will understand what Sith finds beautiful is simply impossible." "There is only one left," said Master Judd. "And only partially." Suddenly one of Maul's metal legs grabbed Jedi's right arm and twisted it. With loud snapping sound, arm broke and lightsaber fell from it. From pain, Judd fell to his knee before Maul. "I would gladly torture you more, Jedi. Unfortunately, I'm out of time," said Sith, while raising his sword. Suddenly, with a hissing sound, a green lightsaber pierced metal torso of Darth Maul. "Let him go," said Dre, who held the lightsaber. Maul didn't falter. It didn't matter that his enemy was a child. He just cut off both his hands, and Boy's lightsaber deactivated. Boy fell to his knees, unbelievingly looking at the place where his hands were. "Dre!" screamed Master Salmara, while activating her blue lightsaber on the run. Javizo followed her. Master Judd already used the Force to ease the Padawan's pain. Maul, evading the blaster shots, ran across the bridge. "Don't let him go!" Screams followed him while he fled. "I will take care of your Padawan. Now run! Kill the beast, while he is weak," said Master Judd to Salmara and Javizo, who followed her. They followed Sith to the end of the bridge, only to find that he is already on the balcony. "He is destroying the tunnel," said Javizo. "Move!" He and Salmara used the Force to stop the falling rocks. "No, no, no!" bitched Jabog. "He was in our arms." "It's not time to care about Maul," said Salmara. "We need to treat our wounded." "Of course you are right. I will get in contact with my soldiers above us," said Jabog. "Even if we will not found him, this planet does not forgive the weak. With such wounds he will not last long. And if he will not be devoured by desert, we will find him," continued he. "Javizo." "My top priority is your protection, sire," said Darth Javizo. "I will not go anywhere. And I'm the best medic around." "Do as you please, Javizo. Your prize awaits you on the table in my cabinet. I found what you wanted." Meanwhile, with Maul. Zabrak awoke in the dark cave and first thing he heard were scratching sounds. "Who is here?" asked Maul. "Show yourself," demanded he. With a mad laughter he appeared, dehydrated and starved spider monstrosity he once were. "You!" screamed Maul in surprise. "No. You are dead." "Dead?" asked Spider Maul. "I will not die ever." He closed his face to Maul Simu. "The one who survived." "No." Maul grabbed the throat of Spider Maul. "You will die." Upper body of Maul turned into upper body of Obi-Wan Kenobi. "No. It was you who died. I turned you into half, Maul. Remember?" "Kenobi!" screamed Zabrak, empowering his grip on the Spider Kenobi. "And how will you stand your ground against me without legs?" Maul turned his head down only to see that his metal legs vanished and he was in the air, with his arms on Spider Obi-Wan's neck. "I don't need them. To strangle you I will need only my arms." "No," pleaded Kenobi. "Please." His face blurred and turned into cat-like person, one of the locals of Murjan. And his throat was in Maul's hands. "No!" screamed another Murjonian, now female. "Get your hands away from grandfather!" screamed she. "What? Where am I?" asked Maul. "Oh!" groaned the old one. "Grandfather! Your heart!" screamed you female, charging to her grandfather. "It's all right, Jatin. I'm well," replied old man. "I sense the great wrath within you. The pain, which created you. Relax, great warrior, you are among friends," said old one. "Where am I? What happened? Why did you get me here?" asked Maul. "You are the chosen one," replied young female. "My grandfather cannot see the world around us, but he can see the future. He foretold the coming of skilled warrior, who will put an end to the tyranny of Jabog and help us return home, to Great Mine." "And why should I help you return home?" asked Maul. "If you will train us and lead us against Jabog, we will return our lands, and help you return your brother," said Old Prophet. "Brother," slowly said Maul. "He may still be alive. Maybe, with an army it will be easier for me." I knew, said Old One, the day of 3 suns is upon us. I foresaw the arrival of the one who will protect us from doom. He who walks on the light with the face of a demon. In Mind's Med Bay. Master Judd sat on the chair with his arm in back to Tank. "How is the boy?" he asked green-skinned Twi'lek doctor. "Great, I managed to attach both arms and Lord Javizo used his skills of a healer. Never saw something like this. It was painful for the boy, but results are fascinating and boy is tough. Few hours later he will be as good as new. Never thought I will see a Sith healer. But nonetheless I saw how mere child stood against one of the vilest creatures in the galaxy, and stabbed it with his sword. He is very tough," replied Jedi Master. "Tell me, Dr. Tresfer," said he, "you, by any chance, didn't give an oath to protect all life?" "Yes," hesitantly replied Doctor. "Good. Because I want to know about locals." Doctor changed in face and instantly started to get away from the room. "You need to rest more." "Ha!" replied Judd. I didn't break my bones for first time and this one will not be the last. But if my question gets you." At this moment Javizo got into Med Bay with a black and red Mandalorian helmet in his hands. "I'm not interrupting anything?" asked he while Doctor used this moment to excuse himself. "Not anymore," tiredly replied Jedi Master. "What's in your arms?" "Family heirloom, my ancestor wore it during Mandalorian Wars. He led Jedi forces," replied Javizo. "Your ancestor was a Jedi?" asked the surprised Master. "He started as Jedi, turned Sith and returned to the light, becoming the master of the both sides eventually," said Javizo. "All his descendants are powerful Force users, Jedi and Sith alike." "Interesting. And what was his name?" "Revan, mostly known as Darth Revan. He sired several heirs, last one, when he returned to the light and married Master Bastilla Shan. Other lines were sired during the time of his travels and rising as Dark Lord." "So there are others like you?" asked Judd. I don't know, I even didn't know that my forefather was Revan until recently. As far as I know, I'm the only one. He got the helmet on his head and pulled on his hood. Anyway, you want to know about locals, yes? No one will tell you, they are too afraid of Jabog, said Javizo. You need somebody who doesn't give a fuck about him or his position. Oh, so you can bring a light to this mystery? But of course. You see, this mine was the sanctuary for local people. Murjon is surrounded by 3 suns. Until 2 of them shines, the heat can be tolerated at least. But every 10 years the 3 suns rise together, burning everything on the planet's surface. Meanwhile, with Maul, I will teach your people how to fight Tristan, but they must be prepared to fight and die to end Jabog, said Maul. Of course, warrior, said Jeanette, moving the cloth that covered the entrance to the tent. You will be our demon of light, and we will be your army. They get outside, and Maul saw that tent was on the cliff. Under them was a sea of Murjonians, who raised their fists in the air and constantly chanted, Demon of light! Demon of light! He looked down while old Tristan said, Our fates are in your hands now. Training them wasn't easy. They were natural hunters and they were great in numbers, but they also had only bows, arrows and spears against blasters of security force. They were also very fond of each other, so when one falls, other will help. Attack! Commanded Darth Maul, and they charged to the rows of training dummies throwing spears and shooting arrows. One of the warriors slipped and fell during the charge. Mas! Instantly screamed the one who ran near him. I got you, brother, ugh! Maul's metal leg kicked him in the back. Stop! Screamed Maul, and everybody stopped their charge. What was that? He asked the lying Morjonian. That was my brother, replied he. And he fell. If one of you falls, he either rises or dies. He pointed his sword in direction of the rows of training dummies. You enemy is there. You cannot stop the charge. You cannot show your back to an enemy who wants your death. This is foolish, objected Murjonian. Those training dummies do not fight back, and you want us go against blasters with spears and bows. You will use what you can, said Maul. If needed, you will use your teeth. Numbers are your only advantage. Many will die, but if you continue to move forward, you will defeat your enemy. Take positions, screamed Maul. You too, barked he to the Murjonian who opposed him. My name is Muthai, replied he. Remember, I don't care what your name is. What matters is your obedience to orders of your commander. Charge! Once again screamed Maul. This time he used force to snap Muthai's leg. Muthai! Screamed Mas. He wanted to help, until he saw merciless eyes of Darth Maul. He turned his back on his brother and ran, not listening to his pleas for help. Maul smiled, standing behind them. Jabog's office inside big mine of Murjan. Javizo, Judd and Salmara stood in Jabog's office wanting him answers for several questions. Thank you for your help with this misunderstanding. Soon everything will become hectic, and this incident could have brought a catastrophe upon my head, said Jabog. With all due respect, Jabog, this incident could have not happened if you wouldn't place bounties on the heads of Darth Maul and Savage Opress, said Master Salmara. Jedi Council also wants to know where you acquired information about return of Darth Maul, and why do you need his head, continued she. It's hard to not notice such brutes as Maul and his brother, replied Jabog. After one of their raids, one of my providers was found dead. I couldn't let this slide. The reputation of my company was at stake. And with yours and Master Javizo's aid, this idea got me this. After all, what can be better sign of power and might than this anger, this alive monument to debauchery and wild power, situated in our biggest mine? Savage Opress is a monster and murder, not some decoration to your office, said Judd. Seriously? From my point of view, he is, replied Jabog. Jabog, Jedi Council wants to judge Savage Opress. You can't left him to yourself, said Salmara. Oh, I can and I will, snorted Jabog. I'm sure Jedi Council appreciates everything that I do for the galaxy. Let's not worsen our relationship because of such nuisance. Now I think you have more pressing matters with war and everything. You are forcing us out of here. I thought with everything that happened, you will want us around. Said Master Judd. Of course, if you are not hiding something. Can you tell me about the Day of Three Suns? Jabog's eyes widened and, no, I fear. Are you sure? You looked like you knew what I'm talking about. You are accusing me? Salmara raised her hand. We are not accusing you in anything. Master Judd was a bit carried away. But we will not leave Murjan until my Padawan is completely healed, said Salmara. Wounded Maul fled to desert. He is already dead, said Jabog. He already died once, it just made him angrier, said Judd. That pipsqueak carries himself and acts like a Sith, but luckily lacks force sensitivity to have the title, commented Javizo. With Maul. We will strike tonight, said Maul. Of course we will, said one of the leaders. Tomorrow 3 suns will rise if battle will not end till the dawn. Jabog knows that his forces will not risk their lives on the surface. Ideal time for attack. Your people driven by fear to be burned alive will manage without powerful weapons. Grandfather, said Jadon, I don't want to kill anyone. Don't worry, Jeanette, women and children, started the elder. We'll burn alive, if you fail, interrupted Maul. They too will fight. Our advantage is in numbers. Do you remember how safe was inside, Brat? My memories are blurry. I was nothing but a child, was her answer. They chased you away from your house and sent your people to certain death. What do you feel now? Asked Maul. Anger, I feel anger, replied she. Yes, keep it inside, let it grow, then unleash it upon your enemies, said Maul. You will kill Brat. And remember, they deserved it. Elder sighed. Cool your heads a little outside the tent. I need to speak with Warrior alone. But Elder. Now. Your people don't trust me, old man, said Maul. Murjonians born, live and die under the earth, they fear your demonical face. But not me, I cannot fear what I cannot see. After all, I can sense the source, hearts and intentions of living people. He stretched his hand to Maul's chest. Let me see your heart, warrior. Old One gasped in surprise from what he sensed. I must go. No. You saw too much, Blind One, replied Maul. I beg you. My people, said Elder. You cannot sacrifice an entire race for your personal goals. SHHH, said Maul. Let me touch your heart. He took the fallen elder into his arms and ran away from the tent. Help! Screamed he to Murjonians. He lost consciousness. I think it's something with his heart. Grandfather! Screamed Jadon. HRK! Elder returned to his senses. Jadon, whispered he briefly. The demon of light. Those were his last words. Grandfather? Asked she unbelievingly. She screamed loudly to heavens above in sign of her sorrow and pain. Poor girl. Maul gently placed his hand on her shoulder. Keep your pain. Use it. He turned his face to Murjonians, who surrounded them. You all must remember this moment. Keep your pain and anger, let them grow. Tomorrow you will unleash it upon your enemies. Your fury will burn hotter than suns. With Jedi and Javizo. It will happen tomorrow? Mace Windu asked Master Judd through hollow link. Yes, Master Windu. Jabog chases them away from the mine, so when 3 suns shall rise, burn they will, said Yoda. Not far away from your position on the cruiser Liberator is Master Kenobi, said Windu. He will arrive with his soldiers to help stop this slaughter, and put Jabog into custody. And what about Maul? Asked Judd. Should we search for him? No, if Jabog his brother keeps himself, he will come. Prepare to meeting you must. Hum. Too late, he is already here, said Javizo. On the surface, army of Murjonians engaged security forces of Jabog. They were smaller, and quality of their weapons shouldn't even be mentioned. But they desperately wanted to survive, and all their anger and despair made them dangerous opponents. Jabog. Murjonians attack. One of the officers got in contact with his employee. Squash them like bugs, replied businessman. Squash us? Asked Jatin, jumping on the back of the trooper. You first. She put her leg on the chest of defeated enemy and looked at the sky. Demon? She asked Maul, what is it above us? Maul looked how battle cruiser got from hyperspace above their heads, followed by small jet fighters, and felt very familiar presence. Kenobi! Hissed he, sensing his old enemy. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan finished giving orders to Commander Cody. Sun will raise soon, Commander. But first we will need to stop the battle and evacuate everyone to the mine. As you command, General Kenobi, replied Cody. Get in position, barked Cody to his fellow clone troopers. Obi-Wan stood before the lines of his troopers, who get in positions on the cliffs, prepared to shoot anyone by their general's order. Stop fighting and lower your weapons, screamed Obi-Wan to the fighting people below. Keep calm, guys. Don't shoot, said Obi-Wan to his soldiers. Demon, what is it? Asked Jatin. Isn't it clear? Jabog summoned powerful allies to destroy you, replied Maul, who hid behind the rock. I repeat, lower your weapons, said Obi-Wan. We will not harm you. They lie, said Maul. They are protecting Jabog. They will slay you. We know who you are working for. You want to get rid of us, but we will not die obediently. You will not win. Tristan saw the future. Murjonians will prevail. Demon of Light is with us. Demon, where are you going? Asked Jatin. Inside, to save my brother and kill the man I came here for, said Maul, while throwing spear in the white lines of clones. It pierced the head of the clone. And you will be the distraction. No! Screamed Jatin. With a loud thud, clone's body fell to the ground. Stop! Screamed Obi-Wan, but it was too late. One clone pushed the trigger, and many followed him. Suns were slowly rising. Temperature outside started to rise, while Darth Maul slowly walked deeper inside the mine. On the deeper levels, siren roared and security forces went to the higher levels. We are under attack! Screamed one of the troopers. I can bet this is Maul, said Master Judd. Find Jabog, don't let him get away, he said to Master Salmara. I will deal with them all. I will return soon, said Salmara to her Padawan. There is no need, I will go with you, replied Dre. You need to rest, Dre. I'm all right, Master Salmara. Listen, my hands have healed and are on the right place. I don't want to stay here. Judd ran to the entrance. He saw him instantly. Maul stood on the pile of bodies, with his sword piercing one of the soldiers, while he held him in the air. Leave him be, said Jedi. Jedi, said Maul, decided to stop me? You will fight me, while your soldiers shoot innocent people? While 3 suns are rising. Sith smiled. They are dying, you understand? Chose wisely, Jedi. Ha! Maul blocked a slash to his abdomen with his red sword. Yes, give in to your anger. Don't listen to his screams of pain from the outdoors. Fight me! Judd just charged past him. No. No? Asked Maul. If you run now, my might will increase tenfold, thousands of the worlds and star systems will fall before me. I will rule the galaxy. Judd stopped and turned. Well, good luck in ruling over the galaxy. I have a duty to uphold. You will regret this decision. When all Jedi will die from my hand, you will remember this minute, said Maul, looking at the back of Walking Master. No, we stopped you once, and we can do it again. Are you sure? Definitely, think yourself, you aren't even half as dangerous as before. He ran out of the mine, activating his spear like lightsaber. He jumped in the air. Stop this! Screamed Kenobi on the cliff. They are still attacking General Kenobi, replied Cody. At this moment, Judd reflected one of the shots with his lightsaber. Stop! Lower your weapons! Roared he, and his loud voice was heard by everyone on the battlefield. Kenobi instantly seized the opportunity. Do as he says, ordered he. You, saved Murjonian, young Jatin, looked at the big figure of reptilian creature in front of her, bathed in sunlight, he stretched his hand in her direction. Are the demon of light with Jabog? Sire, locals are right near the entrance, and I heard that clone troopers arrived. Your personal transport awaits you, said a security officer to Jabog, while hidden doors opened in his office, revealing said transport. Wow! You have a secret passage in your own office? Looks like somebody has something to fear. Voices of Master Salmara and her Padawan made Jabog shoot from his hidden blaster in their direction. Salmara easily reflected the shot back with her lightsaber. Give up, Jabog. Clone troopers will get in the mine soon with all the locals, who you tried to destroy. This is the end. Instead of surrendering, Jabog pushed a button on his table. Shut off the doors to the mines. Nobody shall get in. Stop at this instant, screamed Salmara. Suddenly Red Blade hit the console that Jabog used and returned to the gloved hand of Darth Maul. Too late, said he. Meanwhile on the surface. Master Kenobi. Master Judd? It's good to see you again. Twice as good, counting the situation. Situation is worsening with each second. We need to get soldiers and locals into the mine, before 3 suns will rise completely. The surface is starting to burn, said he, while pointing in the direction of the mine. General Kenobi. The gates, said Cody. What? asked Judd. They are closing the gates. We are trapped. Master Kenobi, said Judd. Yes, of course, replied he. They stepped forward and through the use of the Force they stopped the gates. Faster! Screamed Judd. In Jabog's office. Sacrificing everyone to escape justice? Fascinating. Guards, you can leave us, said Maul while 2 guardsmen ran past him. Little Jedi. Didn't I cut your arms? Asked he. Weren't you cut in half? Did a second part survive? Replied young Padawan. Maul raised his brow questionably. Aren't a pair of Sith legs running around, waiting for some butt kicking? Ha ha, very funny. Now step away from my brother, said Maul. Never thought that somebody like you can return for someone, said Salmara. He is useful. We will go away with Jabog, said Maul. I don't think so, replied Salmara. She didn't notice how Maul used Force to switch the temperature controller on carbonite. Savage fell from it with his hand stretched and lightsaber still in it. His finger was on activation button, so when he fell, H. Red Blade pierced Salmara from behind. On the surface. I don't know how much we can hold on. Move faster! Screamed Master Judd. Help those who cannot help themselves. Get them in, commanded Master Kenobi. Get inside, girl. I don't know if we can keep the door open, said Judd to Jadon. But of course you can, replied she. You are our savior and always were. Grandfather foresaw it. You are from the prophesy. You are our demon of light. It's of course very cute, but go inside already, smiled Judd. Jabog's office. Dre sat near the body of his teacher and looked at her lightsaber. Yes, took the lightsaber, little Jedi, get revenge for your master, taunted Maul. Dre, don't blame yourself, there was nothing you could do. The guilty one is this man, not you, weakly said his master. You cannot, yes? You little coward, you. Maul shouldn't have come so closely, because Dre seized the moment and violently headbutt him. You think you are the smartest one here, fucking cyborg? Said he, using the Force to get his teacher's sword. You think you are so high and mighty, because you killed a bunch of innocent and helpless people? If you want to know my opinion, the weak one here is you. Maul blocked the strike with his blade. The only coward here is you. I'm sure you are waiting with fear for the day when Obi-Wan will return to deal with remaining half. I bet you cannot even dream because of this. Ugh. Having enough of his bickering, Maul kicked Dre with his leg and sent him into the wall. On the surface. 2 Jedi weren't enough to hold such massive door for a long time, under heat, which was rising from second to second. Nearly all people were in the cave when Master Judd finally said, "My skin is tougher than yours, Kenobi. Get in and hold the gates from inside." "And no, after you," replied Kenobi, nearly losing his ability to speak from fatigue. "What?" Kenobi found himself levitating in the air. "Master Judd?" asked he. "You weren't fit for this," replied Judd. "The door is closing," screamed Cody. Master Judd levitated remaining clones and Merjonians in the air. "Don't worry, everything is as it should be." He threw them into the mine, right in time before the doors closed. As prophecy foretold. Demon of light. He closed his eyes. Then came the light. In the office. "Return to your senses, Jedi?" asked the blurred form of Savage Opress before Dre's eyes. "Can you see everything?" To Dre's dread, he saw Maul with a sword pointed in his teacher's chest. "You love her, little Jedi?" asked Maul. "Don't," whispered Dre, looking in his teacher's eyes. "Don't leave me." Maul sent his blade down. Dre closed his eyes to not see what will happen. So he lost the moment when another red blade hit the Maul's lightsaber and threw him away from his trajectory. Maul stabbed it in the floor near Salmara's head. Red blade, while spinning, returned to Javizo's hand. "Who are you?" asked an angry Maul. "Just a wraith, which comes upon your kind," was his reply. "Let's see if you live up to your name. Savage, get Jabog to the shuttle. I will deal with the young one." Maul's attacks were fast, wild, and powerful. He used all advantages he had, included twisting in odd angles due to his unnatural legs. But Javizo wasn't somebody who would fall so easily. He parried every strike of the Maul's blade, and his counterattacks, though rare, were always powerful enough to set even Maul off balance. "AGH!" In anger, Maul raised his blade upon his head and put it down on the Javizo's. What Javizo did to counter this action surprised Maul. He put his sword in reverse grip and blocked the blade with his hilt. To Maul's surprise, his blade destabilized when he met Javizo's hilt. "Impossible!" thought Maul. He coated it in cortosis. Javizo caught Maul's right hand in iron grip and stabbed him with his lightsaber. Maul tried to stop his hand with his left, but lightsaber pierced his metal carcass. "Look," said Javizo, "you are now symmetrical." He got his face, hidden by helmet, closer to Maul's. "I know what you fear, Maul. I can sense it, and he can sense you too. He is coming." Wall behind them exploded, making him get away from Maul. Zabrak didn't lose any time and jumped into the shuttle. He escaped with Savage and captured Jabog. "Dre!" screamed Obi-Wan, who came first through the hole in wall. "Master Kenobi!" Dre ran to him. "We tried to stop him." "Shh," said Obi-Wan, "everything is okay." "Af!" Screams of Salmara. Her body was engulfed in lightning, which spread from Javizo's arms on her wound. Under surprised eyes of everyone in the room, wound slowly closed. Salmara's body stopped shaking and her chest slowly rose up and down. She was alive. "Master Salmara!" Happy Dre ran to his master only to fall to his knees near her and cry, from happiness. "What was that?" asked Obi-Wan. "A successful healing through the dark side," replied Javizo. "You understand that you will come with us? The facts of me being stronger than all of you combined, saving Jedi's life and having this really powerful thermogrenade say otherwise," said Javizo. Obi-Wan stepped aside. "I always knew that you are the man of reason, Obi-Wan," said Javizo, slowly walking past him. "Master Kenobi." He turned to see Dre staying beside him. "Did all of us manage to get in?" asked the boy. "Yes," said Obi-Wan. "Master Judd. He saved us all." "Maul and Savage took Jabog," continued Dre. "He escaped justice." "He didn't," said Jatin, who stood near them all the time. "Demon will do terrible things to him." "Yes," said Obi-Wan. "I can imagine." "What about the other one?" asked Dre. "I'm glad he healed Master, but..." "He is not our enemy," said Kenobi. "Yet he is not." "With Jabog." "Are you sure, Jabog?" "That's a lot of credits," said Amun, who was speaking with Jabog through Hollow Link. You are a banker, Varen, pay without questions, said Jabog. Savage, get Jabog off the board, said Maul, pushing one of the buttons on console. What? But I did as you said, I gave up all money, screamed Jabog. And you are now useless, said Maul. Useless? You don't understand anything about power. In this galaxy it belongs to me. Without my mines, without my uranium, it will drown in darkness. Jabog, we want to drown it in darkness, replied Maul, while Savage dealt with screaming little alien. Dathomir. Several days later. Mother Talzin. One of the Night Sisters came into chambers of the Mother Talzin. Lord Javizo wishes to see you. Let him in, replied Talzin. Figure in dark robes came in her chambers. Javizo waited until doors closed behind him. He stretched his arm and forced Mother Talzin in the wall. I will give you 5 minutes to tell me, why do you return him? Asked he. Talzin tried to tell something, but Javizo's force grip was too powerful. He lessened it, and Talzin helplessly fell to the floor. I do not know any mother who will not try to help their son, was her reply. Javizo didn't respond, he just stormed out of her chambers. Javizo's hideout. Naruto looked in the mirror, emotional turmoil in his mind and soul still didn't calm down. Calm yourself, flesh of my flesh, said a familiar voice behind his back. Why do you think that I'm not calm? Asked Naruto. Your emotions betray you. Thinking about Talzin and Maul, you compare them to your mother and yourself, replied Ghost. Am I that easy to read? No, it's just I'm several millennia old entity. I have a lot of experience, said Revan. What do you think I should do? Asked Naruto. Most basic choice is face your past and deal with it, replied Revan. You mean to strike them down? Asked Naruto. That's only for you to decide, but nonetheless we need to gather more strength. I shelter your presence in the Force, but to face the current Dark Lord you will need more power. You need to find my lightsaber. It's on the planet Onderon, in hands of unworthy, who don't even understand what's in his hands. Without a doubt you hit it well, Master Revan, maybe a bit too well. I heard that there is rebel faction on Onderon. I will ally myself with them. After all, every army needs a doctor. Onderon. Several weeks later. Javizo infiltrated the lines of the rebels as an enemy to current king's regime. He introduced himself as a doctor with Mandalorian origin. An oddity, but they were too short on personnel to ask questions. Due to his work they didn't have many problems with wounded. Shock therapy from Dr. Javizo, as soldiers called it, came in handy. Soldiers also didn't risk themselves remembering treatment. But Javizo couldn't raise the dead and rebels lacked in experience, weapons, numbers, medicaments, and nearly everything compared to CIS forces. That led to eventual decision. They contacted Jedi Council. Unfortunately, return Onderon through any diplomatic means seems impossible, said a young rebellion commander through Hollow, linked to Jedi Council. And we lack war machines and ammo. Onderon is ruled by the king, and at the start of war he chose the side of CIS. Noted Obi-Wan. Our true king sits in jail. Interfered older and more soldier-looking commander. Current king is the lackey of separatists. Without aid we will not survive. Solution find, we must, said Master Yoda. We are waiting for your answer, said rebellion leader terminating the Hollow link. Such activist exists on nearly every planet, said Anakin. If we teach them and give them weapons they can strike separatists from behind in time of key Republic operations. Anakin, we are not teaching terrorists, said Master Kenobi. And if not terrorists but rebels, who wish to return under the wing of Republic? Asked Anakin. Wise decision, said Mace Windu. We can make separatists to fight on two fronts. Fear extinguish like that, commented Master Yoda. We cannot. Stop the terror we must. Of course, you ask about dangerous things, Anakin. We do not tutor terrorists, said Obi-Wan. And rebels? Our war doctrine differ from others. Supplying the rebels means risking the innocent lives, countered Obi-Wan. We can minimize the damage by use of the anti-droid weapons. Didn't give up, Anakin. The only things we can do are helping them to protect themselves and testing tactical weapons," said Mace Windu. "Ha!" said Anakin. "New weapons would come in handy." Train and observe, masters we will send," said Yoda. "I will go," instantly said Anakin. "I'm with you," said Obi-Wan. "What? You don't trust me?" "On the contrary, that's what worries me most." They looked at the Grand Master, and Yoda nodded to them. Several days later, Republic transport got to Onderon. "Valkyrie 29-29, we are getting to the landing zone," said the pilot. Meanwhile, the back of the ship opened, revealing Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan in cloaks and Rex in local uniform. "Go, go, go," said Clone Trooper to them. And their company jumped to the surface. Using acrobatic tricks, Jedi landed on Earth, while Rex used jetpack. They instantly get to the trees while Anakin and Rex went through the forest. He stopped when Ryder got from the thicket before them. "Don't move," said female voice. Anakin turned to the other side and second Ryder appeared behind him. "Identify yourself." He pulled off his hood. "It's all right, we are friends," said he. "Jedi," said female Ryder. Two figures landed on left and right sides of her. Right figure pulled of the hood. "I'm Commander Tano. We are here to help you reclaim the planet." "My name is Stila," replied female Ryder. "I will get you to our base." Situated deeper in the forest in ancient ruins was the rebels' base. Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, Anakin, and Rex looked around and also commented the state of the forces. "A bit disorganized to my tastes," said Obi-Wan. "That's why I took Rex with us," said Anakin. "They lack discipline, but there is nothing we cannot fix with enough time," said Rex. In front of them landed a flying creature. One of the rebel commanders, who asked for aid from Republic, the elder one, jumped from its back to them. "General Kenobi, General Skywalker," greeted he. "You already know us," said Anakin. "These are Commander Tano and Captain Rex." "Saw," replied Rebel Commander. "Saw Gerrera. He acts like he is a commander here, but trust me, he is third in rank at best," said a voice to their left. "It cannot be," whispered Ahsoka. "Good to see you again, General Kenobi, Commander Tano, and good to meet you, General Skywalker and Captain Rex. I'm Resident Doctor and also second in command. But you already know me as Darth Javizo. If you hurt yourself or need some tactical advice, feel yourself free to come to me. And for you, Ahsoka, I propose a full medical checking," said very familiar Sith in Mandalorian helmet and dark armor. While Ahsoka blushed and everyone laughed, Obi-Wan asked himself, is it a curse that this certain Sith emerged in galaxy or a blessing in disguise? Force after all moves in mysterious ways. Onderon. Rebels meeting point. Separatists overcome with numbers, we will teach you how repels their forces effectively, said Anakin. And to make it clear, we are not here to fight your battles for you, we are here to teach you how to fight effectively, interfered Obi-Wan. Rebels looked at each other and nodded. Captain Rex, said Anakin. Rex stepped forward to console. I will tell you how 501st deal with the junkheads, but first I need volunteers to carry ammo and supplies from our landing point, said Rex. Without questions, replied Saul. Good, said Rex. Follow me. While rebels followed him, Ahsoka called one of them. Lux. Young rebel turned to face Togruta. It's good to see you again, she said. You too, Ahsoka, replied Lux. I never thought that you are part of rebel faction. Onderon is my home, and my mother was our voice in the Senate. And strong voice you have, said Stila, who came from the right side of them. Just like his mother. What about your opinion about joining Republic? Asked Ahsoka. It still haven't changed. When we will reclaim Onderon, I will not become a part of Republic, said Lux. What truly matters is teamwork, like it was on Karlak. Karlak? Asked Stila. What happened on Karlak? Thanks to Ahsoka, I'm here on Onderon and not with Death Watch, replied Max. He means, started Ahsoka? She saved me from a terrible mistake, said Lux. He went to the crowd of soldiers, leaving Ahsoka and Steela alone. Looks like he has high opinion about you, said Steela. Maybe, said Ahsoka. It's better not be biased, said Steela menacingly. Several minutes later. Driver in first slot, controls tank, guns and front blasters. Lectured the rebels Ahsoka. Commander in upper slot operates tower and main gun. You need to destroy both parts, or tank will be operational. She nodded to Rex, who acted immediately. He climbed to the first slot, opened it, threw a grenade to it. Then he used the main gun to get to the upper one and threw a grenade in it. Electrical charge turned giant war machine into pile of junk metal. Everybody divide in groups of 2 and train to deal with tanks, commanded Anakin. He threw bombs to Lax and Saw. I will take the upper one, said Lax, pushing Saw with his elbow. Dream on, replied Saw, pushing him back. When Rex gave a signal, Saw pushed Lax to the back and charged to the tank first, while Lax followed him. Saw started to open the first slot while Lax climbed up, but main gun bended down and he fell from it, right on the Saw. Both rebels rolled in dust. Lax get up first and gave his hand to Saw. Sorry, he said. Saw pushed his hand aside and said, You are good for nothing soldier, Lax. They are more interested in fighting with themselves than with droids, commented Obi-Wan. It will take time, replied Anakin. Take only the smartest and most skilled. In this fight time is no ally of us, said Obi-Wan. Meanwhile, on the Great Stone Bridge 2 transports for droids drove, while near an outpost one of the battle droids instructed 3 scout droids. Unknown ship got into atmosphere in Sector S11 and didn't register, rebels may operate there. Check it. Droids disappeared in jungles, following their orders. Meanwhile with rebels. Move! Screamed Rex. Act like a soldier, like a real one. Faster, Donan! You can do it, Has! Sort of cheered Saw. You can do better. He turned his head and saw Lax with Steela. He growled and walked to them. Are you ready? He asked. Yes, said Lax, rising to his feet. I'm all right. Saw crossed his arm down his chest. Are you sure? We could have died over there. I'm ready, replied Lax. Naruto appeared between them like a djinn from the bottle. Enough of this. If you continue like this, you better give up right now. But 2 hotheads didn't listen, their struggle continued. Lax was more level-headed, but Saw was stronger and had more endurance. As if it wasn't enough, tensions between Ahsoka and Steela started to rise. Steela hit a droid head from her sniper rifle. Good aim and powerful hit, commented Anakin. Target that doesn't move is one thing, but what if we raise the difficulty a little? Said Ahsoka while levitating heads with force. Next shoot hit them as easily as before. Piece of a cake, commented Steela. Continue your training, said Anakin. You need to stay sharp for coming battles. Steele once again raised her sniper rifle. What the? Droids. To arms! Her cry and first droids, who appeared from the jungle, made rebels grab their weapons. Rebels easily destroyed battle droids. Finally, combined skills of Saw and brains of Lax brought them victory. Finally, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Rex left, leaving Ahsoka with rebels and, most importantly, with Javizo. While Ahsoka was upset with relationship of Steela and Lax, young Sith was happy to help. Ahsoka was a cute girl and force sensitive like him. They talked and found out that they had a lot in common. Slowly their relationship blossomed into something more, and young Ahsoka at first time found that unlimited stamina can be used not only in training. Still, everything was new to her, and she was rather shy in their relationship. Javizo, on the other hand, often told one thing about this mission: I had enough money to buy anything in known galaxy, but fucking Ahsoka in the ass, while she gives her report to Jedi Council and doing it in such a way that they never suspected it, that's truly priceless. Other Jedi tolerated his presence at this mission because he was the best medic in the area, and they didn't want to risk the mission and Ahsoka's life by doing something to him. While rebels became bolder and more successful in their operations, Javizo sought the object of his desire, his ancestor's lightsaber. He knew that sword was in hands of new King of Onderon. Fool used it as simple decoration, attachment to his belt. Just thinking about this sacrilege made his blood boil. Javizo made a deep breath and looked at the reason of his irritation, rebel leaders, Ahsoka and Old King. I will not tell you anything, finally said he. I'm starting to feel myself as a father of the bunch of 2-year-old kids. Saw. His stern commanding voice made Saw to nearly jump. Who gave you permission to get out on your own? If it wasn't for you, we would have got old man out of the prison without any causalities. And now I need to push a lot of buttons to get new equipment to deal with their strategic forces. Okay, you know what? Get out. Ahsoka. Stay, I need to talk with you. Yes? We need to stall for time. Hondo will get us needed weapons, can you do it? Don't worry, Javizo. I will deal with anything they will throw at me. Yeah, take care, said Javizo, turning his back to Ahsoka. I'm such a terrible Sith, caring about someone and other stuff. Later, when he remembered everything that happened, he would understand that their victory was sheer miracle. If Hondo would not come in time, all of them would have been buried under the soil of Onderon's jungles. However, their victory came with a price. Due to Saw's impatience, they lost Stila. So while Javizo stood in secure hideout in front of bound Sanjay Rash, lightsaber of his ancestor was now in his hands. He smiled under his helmet, and with help of the Force he activated it. Bright pupil blades sprung from the hilt of lightsaber. Naruto's smile grew wider. He absolutely needed to test this perfect weapon. Screams of Rash couldn't be heard. Javizo always made his hideout soundproof. Months later, Javizo stood on board of his greatest trophy Grievous flagship Malevolence, a worthy warship for a worthy captain. He always wanted to see Grievous' face when he reported about the loss of the prize warship from Confederacy's fleet. He looked through the reports of his spies. Growing activity of Confederacy near his friend's planet was troublesome, at least. He also found out that Confederacy's scientists works on some sort of hyperspace tunnel. What bothered him was that Dooku supervised this project personally. Either he, like all good Sith, wanted to further expand his domain, or there was more in it. Thinking about motives of his colleague from the dark side, he ordered his troops to send their vessel to Florum. Meanwhile, dealing with a bunch of younglings, while they were supposed to create their lightsabers, was a hard task. Children are thought to be flowers of life, but at least one time Ahsoka wanted to send them back to their sender. She knew that this mission was supposed to be nothing like her favorite battle ones, but she wanted at least a bit of action. And she got a lot of it. Action and danger came in form of 2 words, Hondo Onaka. And everything started really great. She looked at younglings and remembered how she herself crafted her sword. Petro, a young human youngling, was first to complete his sword. Instantly he started to play with it. With this sword I will challenge Master Kenobi and kill General Grievous, said he, while swinging deactivated hilt. Others just smiled and laughed at such a bold claim. Meanwhile, Professor Huyang stretched his metal arms, asking Petro to give him his sword. After careful examination, he said, "With this sword you can kill only yourself. You put energy transmitter in wrong place. If you tried to activate it, you will die from explosion and only your crystal would remain. Repeat the process, but this time, follow the instruction." At this moment, ship shook from the first strike. Hondo's pirates attacked the ship, trying to take the priceless lightsaber crystals. Ahsoka managed to repel them, but by a fluke she was stuck on the pirate's ship. "I'm really sorry to do this, little Jedi, but I have no other way but to turn you into my prophet." That was the last word she heard before the darkness consumed her. So now she found herself on the fucking tank, trying to get away from pirates' headquarters and get younglings to safety. After the plan failed, she once again was bound and prepared for transportation. She looked at the grim landscape of Florum and thought that only miracle could save them now. Suddenly the tank stopped. One of the pirates took binoculars to his eyes. "What the? There is droids everywhere." "That means that General Kenobi lost his fight and this sector is under separatist control," said Ahsoka. Suddenly a stream of air pushed them to the ground. black spaceship landed near them. From open door, figure in dark robes jumped before them. Ahsoka gasped and blushed. Very familiar helmet with T-shaped visor and scaly armor. Lord Javizo, said one of the pirates. We have a gift for you, Padawan and younglings. So let me rephrase. Naruto slowly walked to the pirate. You captured my dear friend, her charges, and then, when it became really hot, you decided to sell my own friend to me? It's rare for Sith to have friends. We often look at them as some kind of property. But do you know what will happen to a fool who dared to raise his hand upon something that is precious to said Sith? Something painful? Yes. Like pulling out your bones, while you are still alive and without painkillers. He turned his head to Ahsoka and younglings. With a slight move of his hand, handshakes fell to the ground. Padawan Tano, who is he? Asked Ganodi. Ahsoka patted her. An old friend of mine. Our relationship is complicated. Why? Asked Petro. Because I'm Sith, said Javizo. What? Don't scream, little ones, droids will hear. Do you have a plan? Maybe we can use your ship? Asked Ahsoka. If you have nothing against leaving this pile of ossic on my laps and leaving your charges behind, then yes, replied Javizo. Then? We need to get out my old pal Hondo. He always has a spare ship, said Javizo. How can we trust him? He is a Sith, shouted Petro. You are still alive, brat, isn't it? Parried Javizo. And he already worked with us, said Ahsoka. If several Master Jedi failed in their task of submitting him, do you really think that you will do better? Younglings now looked at him with more respect. Naruto didn't know why it mattered, but he felt a small tingle of pride. We will get Hondo out of his prison, get the ship, and then say goodbye to this crappy planet. Meanwhile, Boss! Trouble! One of the pirated charged into the room and instantly died from the blaster bolt. Hondo made a sip of wine, while massive figure with arms crossed behind its back. General Grievous, I presume, said Hondo. Let's get to the business, said Grievous, using his legs to climb on the Hondo's table. He grabbed Hondo and threw him to the center of the room. A hollow projection of the Count Dooku appeared before Pirate. Hondo. Count Dooku. It's good to see you. Last time we saw each other I was your prisoner. Now you are mine and this sector is under control of separatists. What does this mean? This means that your fleet will be disassembled and your weapons will be taken from you. You will be stripped of your property and submit to Confederacy. Hey, it's unfair. Who works like that? Get him away. Meanwhile, Naruto and others slowly made their way to Hondo's keep, the used tank and R2-D2 as distraction. Hondo struggled in his shackles when door exploded. Ahsoka, my dear friend, said the captured pirate. Hondo, trust me, if I didn't need to get out from that piece of mud that you call a planet. Yes, I knew that you will not help good old Hondo, just because of your goodwill, said Hondo. But I'm out of the ships. Yeah? And we heard that you always have a back-up plan, said Petro. Hondo glared at pirates. Perhaps, and perhaps a certain someone should know when he should speak about my resources. But all you have is a bunch of brats, who themselves need your care. At this moment Huyang interrupted. Excuse me, but I saw thousands upon thousands of Jedi's younglings, and those are one of the best. Perhaps, then show me your blades, prove me that you are prepared to battle. One by one, younglings showed Hondo their blades, all except one. Katuni. I still haven't finished my blade, I do everything right, but it's just not working. Don't think about it as different parts. Everybody turned to Javizo. It's whole, and you must feel it properly connected. Yes. Complete it. Seeing Jedi finishing her sword, it will be my price. Price for my help. While Katuni completed her sword, Hondo sheared on the sidelines. Yes. Yes. It's beautiful. Finally her crystal took its place in the center of the sword, and then she grabbed it. And blue blade cut off Hondo's shackles. Why all this circus? Asked Ahsoka. You know me, Ahsoka. Even if I'm a pirate, I try to not involve children in my business. And where was that rule when you attacked us? It was yesterday. Now I care for children. Let's go and free my boys. Meanwhile, General Grievous arrived to the workplace of his droids. He got the hollow link from his belt. An image of one of the droids appeared. Model 00M87 is reporting for duty. General Sir, prison block is under attack by little Jedi. What? What kind of nonsense are you blabbering? What kind of Jedi? Little, twice as little as usual ones. They are freeing the captives and… Arg. Grievous looked how Zat cut off the legs of the droids and Petro beheaded him. He saw the glimpse of his eyes before transmission was cut off. Prepare our weapons, commanded Grievous. Bring the roof upon their heads. When tanks bombarded prison block Ahsoka and the captives engaged the droids. Ahsoka used her two blades and acrobatic moves to deal with droids. Meanwhile, pirates led by Javizo and Hondo slowly cut their way through junkheads. Younglings used their little height and teamwork to deal with their opponents. Hondo and several other pirates jumped on the speeders. Katuni followed him. I will cover you, she said. Good. I feel much easier, said Hondo. Meanwhile, Grievous tried to organize his forces outside, when speeders and heavy transport flew past him. You think you can escape? I will find you and get you right on the place, twerps, screamed Cyborg while he jumped on his own speeder and race in the wastelands started. Hondo led the group into the canyons where he hid his fleet in secret hideout. General Grievous followed them and several tanks followed him also. Hondo and raiders went to right while transport with Ahsoka, Javizo and others get to the left side. Grievous using his advantage in speed get closer, and after cutting the distance short enough he used his speeder as battering ram to get Jedi on Earth. In dust that had risen from the fall of two transports, Grievous moved unseen using his spider form. So when he appeared from the sand and once again stood on his two legs, he was rather terrifying sight for younglings. Grievous slowly walked to them. When he held his hands behind his back, Naruto noticed that General looked like giant bird. Like a giant carnivorous bird. Little Jedi. So many lives. So many swords for my collection. And his bloodthirsty mood just had worsened the similarity. Dark shadow landed between Jedi and Cyborg. General. It's been a while. Welp. You will pay for my humiliation. Your humiliation came from your own foolishness and carelessness. Who would make such a giant holes in security systems of the ship that is considered a prized weapon of your army? Certainly not me. I turned malevolence into my personal fortress. Try to take it back, you worthless pail of junk metal. With loud battle roar, Grievous jumped into the air and attacked with his four blades, but they pierced only sand. Javizo leaped behind. Padawan Tano, shouldn't we help him? Asked Ganodi. No. Why? Asked Petro. Grievous armed with four blades and none of us are skilled enough to fight with him on equal grounds. We will only distract Javizo. By the way, she and younglings looked how second blade emerged from the Javizo's lightsaber's hilt and blocked two strikes coming from the left side, while other red blade blocked two from the right. Do you know interesting thing about my blade, Grievous? Asked Javizo. No, but tell me. I like specially customized trophies in my collection, replied Grievous. It conducts only one type of the Force. Mine. Electric surge had violently struck Grievous. It was powerful enough to force him to his knees. Yes. Taste it. That's what you want. Power. Unlimited. Unstoppable. Power. Force lightning pushed Grievous far away from their position and out of the reach of Naruto's lightning, but not too far for slave eye guns. Grievous hid his head between his knees trying to hide from the bombarding. He crawled away, trying to get to safety, and only arrival of heavy artillery saved him from humiliating death in dunes of Florum. Meanwhile on slave eye. Did we get him? Asked Petro. I doubt it, replied Naruto. He is too stubborn to die from something like that. But he will remember us, and he will search for us. We should be cautious. He turned the visor of his helmet to Hondo. Get us to Kenobi's position, Hondo. With a bit of diplomacy, we may be able to get something from this situation. When they landed on Kenobi's battle cruiser, Hondo tried to persuade him that it was a rescue mission all along. And fuel isn't cheap either. Hondo ended his monologue, while Obi-Wan smiled and asked, and destroyed ship that belonged to the Order was part of the mission too. AGH, I just saved a bunch of kids and here is my thanks. No good deed will be unpunished after all. I will send you Bill. Hondo walked to his ship. When Katuni caught a glimpse of his eye, he nodded to Youngling and she nodded back. Well, said General Kenobi, igniting his lightsaber. Let me personally greet you as full-fledged members of the Jedi Order. Following his example, Ahsoka and Younglings put their blades in circle formation. From Javizo's side it looked like Republic's symbol. Kenobi, it's good that you are caring about young generation, but I have some news for you, which you must get to Jedi Council. Interesting, said Kenobi after he heard about information that Javizo acquired. Are you sure in your source? Absolutely, said Javizo. I fear that they will try to expand their territory through this or use it as some sort of teleportation device for instant attacks. It will cut their army expenses tremendously and increase Republic's even more. Council will hear about it, said Kenobi. Take care, said Naruto. Both felt how force moved against them, and while nobody saw, they gripped the hilts of their lightsabers trying to calm themselves. Several weeks later. Unknown location. With a hissing sound, lightsaber cut through the safe's lock. Look, brother. We are rich, said a massive Zabrak in dark armor. Money is just one of the means to expand our influence, apprentice, replied Maul. We will act according to my plan. We are brothers. There shouldn't be inequality between us. There can be only two, master and his apprentice. I'm the master and you are my apprentice. Savage just activated his lightsaber. So be it, said Maul. His attacks were too fast and unpredictable for Savage to parry. Maul easily overpowered his much clumsier brother. He held his blade near his throat and asked, Well? Master, replied Savage. Excellent. Now, apprentice, Sith always ruled through deception, dividing and conquering their enemies. But here is our problem. We lack resources, human and technological alike. Though we have enough money from our last adventure, I want more. We will need organization to take our rightful place as rulers of this galaxy. What do we need, Master? Criminals, pirates, mercenaries, everyone who wants to kill and maim under our banners. And I know where we can find our first recruits. We are going to floor 'em. Maul's plan was simple. Divide and conquer. He let pirates capture their ship, then through his mastery of the Force submitted them and gave them a choice: follow him and be rich or die. He prepared for anything, or at least he thought so. To become a pirate king, he needed to just kill Hondo. So Kenobi's presence on the planet was unpredictable yet so pleasant surprise. He hissed, feeling how dark side reacted to his rage filling his body with power. He felt pain, fear and anger from warriors across the battlefield. He landed on the carcass of the spaceship. Kenobi! He said it with strange, near excited state. In his mind he already tasted the blood of his enemy, the blood of the one who ripped him of his fate, being the Dark Lord of the Sith, the next ultimate ruler of this galaxy. Metal carcass was rather unfortunate choice of the ground for Obi-Wan. Maul, on the other hand, felt himself very good. His metal claws gave him an upper hand in their duel. Unnatural flexibility and balance gave Maul better chances. He slowly pushed Obi-Wan back, while behind him his brother battled Odigalia. Savage tried to hit her legs, but she leaped in the air and landed near one of the carcasses of the spaceships. Savage didn't waste any time. He rammed her with his horns and stabbed her with lightsaber to be sure. No! Screamed Kenobi, using the Force to summon her sword. Armed with two swords, he was still no match for combined power of two brothers. They slowly pushed him to the Hondo's last position, but eventually they stopped before blocked doors. Hey Kenobi, where is the other Jedi? Who was with you? Obi-Wan just moved his head. What? They can kill one of yours? Ack. And what are you going to do against them, I want to ask? You are alone now, your chances diminished. I will fight. said Kenobi, and I will get their attention on myself. Use the time well. Jedi went into dark corridors of the Hondo's sanctuary. He felt the presence of 2 Sith and activated his lightsabers to battle his foes. However, Sith were strong, and only thing that Obi-Wan could do is survive long enough until Savage Opress will make a mistake, which happened eventually. During the battle, Kenobi hit Savage's knee to get him off balance. In his last try he managed to do it. With cracking sound, Savage's knee bended in unnatural direction and Zabrak fell with his hand being right on the line of one of Kenobi's swords. Thus Maul understood that time for tactical retreat is now and run with his brother's body, but their escape was startled by pirates who turned on them. He managed to get them to their ship and start the engines. Return to your senses, brother, we need to get out of here. Too tired. Too wounded. Nothing will help. Use the Force and detach the capsule when I say you. Seeing that Savage was still in prostration, Maul raised his voice. Believe me, apprentice. Hondo prepared rocket launcher to deal with 2 Sith. Perfect hit, get them back to Earth, but no bodies were found. Kenobi returned to Jedi Order, with grieved news of Master Gallia's death. Hondo was counting the profit, and Javizo found out about what happened while he was dining with his new friend, a very interesting chiss by the name Thrawn, who he found on unpopulated planet. He was a source of very interesting information. Not only he was a great tactician, but also one of the few people who saw a true Lord of the Sith, Darth Sidious. In him Naruto found not only a capable ally but also a friend, who for his return to civilization promised to serve him. Javizo needed somebody like him, and letting man of such caliber go to waste. Javizo would sooner cut off his own arm. Their partnership promised to be long and fruitful, because at this point Javizo thought about expanding his business, droid armies, which were made in secret on Tatooine. An ancient temple built by Darth Revan gave him so much needed numbers. Also his spies on Mustafar found remains of ancient ship and body of the droid in amazing state. After seeing holo projection, Naruto had found similarities of said droid and the ones on Tatooine from Secret Factory very suspicious. His suspect was right. His spies found remains of HK-47, the one who served his ancestor Darth Revan. So while he upgraded and repaired HK's body, he talked with him about his plans. Question: So me. Master, what are your plans for this model? What are we doing better than anything HK? Statement: we are killers, therefore we kill. No HK, we are survivors. Therefore we survive, somehow. Question: then what about killing? We are doing it to raise our spirits HK. That's all, the more the better. Statement: you are very cruel person, Master, I like that in you. Prepare yourself HK, rising activity of criminal lords is very suspicious. Are you prepared to get couple or another 100 of meat bags on your count? Joyful statement: always. Yet Naruto's plans were nearly destroyed by the rise of the Shadow Collective. Their organized forces were too much for Naruto's armies. While Thrawn created tactics, Naruto tried to get them out of the situation where they had gotten. While time passed, his spies gave him valuable information. Pre-Visual, leader of the secret Mandalorians, was slain. Since one of his spies worked in the morgue, he found out that he was beheaded by lightsaber. That alone was suspicious. Mandalorian was arrogant, but his skills in swordsmanship were equal to a Jedi Master. Only someone with Force on his side could defeat him. Since Mandalore was a neutral territory, it was a lone fighter. Jedi are rare guests in that sector, which lead him to the thoughts about Zabrak brothers. Bodies weren't found after all, and Savage Opress was publicly put in jail by Pre-Visual. His spies also reported that not all forces joined the side officially led by Prime Minister Bo-Katan Kryze, sister to the Duchess of the Mandalore and most trusted lieutenant of Pre-Visual. Alongside her Night Owls and her young nephew Corky, Kryze and his followers lead the rebel forces. He wrote a message to one of his subordinates. This Bo-Katan sounded promising. He already wanted to meet her. Lord Javizo. Tron, always perfect looking and calm like a statue. Where are we going? Mandalorian sector. If everything goes as planned, we will have a stronghold soon. Several days later. Mandalorian high security prison. There was a time when we weren't enemies. Maybe it's time to remember those golden days? were first words from Bo-Katan to her sister, who she didn't see in a long time. She despised her for her political decisions but also respected her for being tough when needed, and of course she loved her as sister. "We need to get away, transport waits us near the gate." She led her sister to the elevator, but sudden appearance of the guard turned their escape into firefight in prison elevator. To Commander's delight there was only 5 guards, who quickly fell under her shots. Escaping from city's guard was much more problematic. Transport was too slow and didn't have a lot of durability. Soon it crashed, but Saturn managed to send the message to Obi-Wan Kenobi. She prepared herself to be captured again when something unusual happened. Enemy soldier grabbed their throats like they tried to stop some invisible arm that slowly choked the life out of them. One by one they fell to the ground, and in heavy silence Saturn heard the sound of heavy steps. She turned to see the figure in dark robes, scaly Mandalorian, like armor and black Mandalorian helmet. "Who are you?" asked Saturn. "Saturn." She turned to see her sister. "It's good to see that you are Al." "Who is that?" Bo-Katan had instantly changed her tone when she saw Javizo and pointed her gun at him. "Wait," said Saturn, staying before her sisters and her soldiers' guns, trying to protect her savior. "He saved me. I'd bet to have something in return, you see." "You are right," Bo-Katan cries. Grim voice of Saturn's savior sent shivers down Redhead's spine. "I have a deal for you, but it can wait." He slowly went to the wall and moved it with the force. "Let's speak in more secured place." Later, sitting in one of the hideouts of Darth Javizo, Mandalorians listened to his story. "As you already understood, Shadow Collective has many powerful enemies, but while it is as organized as it is now, none of them can unite and destroy this union. And alone, Shadow Collective is more powerful than any. That's why I have proposition. Shadow's collective power is a source of their weakness. If we can remove Darth Maul, all that he achieved shall fall like a house of cards. His followers will fight and kill each other, while Duchess and her family will return to power." "And what will you gain from this?" asked Bo-Katan. "You will need a military after this. Citizens will not feel themselves safe after war had come to their homes. I want a position of commander of your forces. No outsider shall ever rule Mandalore," screamed Bo-Katan. "You misheard me. I never said anything about ruling Mandalore. I asked for a high position in your army." "He is right, sister," said Saturn. "We can always make his position with no political power, and you will be his opposition." Bo-Katan sighed. "I suppose this can suffice, but I'm looking at you." Yes. Let's return to business. Maul already used you for what he wanted." "And he wanted?" asked Corky, who finally got a chance to ask something. "Obi? Why?" asked Saturn. "When you cut somebody in half, it usually get the cut one really angry." Bo-Katan laughed. "That was him. I will give him a bear next time I see him, even if he is a Jedi. This can wait. Maul is our main goal. He will lure Kenobi somewhere he can duel and kill him. Maul is very predictable when it comes to his archenemy." "And what now?" asked Saturn. "Now you gather your forces, and we are going to my headquarters," replied Javizo. Obi-Wan Kenobi knew that his plan was full of holes. After all, getting into enemy's territory in old, nearly falling apart transport was not good plan. Especially if you are dealing with a race of warriors who don't like outsiders, especially Jedi. Obi-Wan used the guard's armor to get into the prison. "Hey, newbie!" He felt how shiver run down his spine, but still he decided to play along. "Get this to cell 5462, where Duchess is. It's time for supper." Guard showed him plates with food. Trying to not arouse suspicious, Obi-Wan took one of the plates and slowly went to the cell. He entered it, but it was empty. Suddenly door closed behind him. Last thing he heard before darkness consumed him was cracking of electricity. He returned to his senses in large room on the black long carpet. He slowly raised his head. Mandalorians stood in the throne room all around, and he was certain it was a throne room, because on said throne sat Darth Maul himself. "Kenobi!" He stood up from his throne. What a pleasant surprise! Maul's metal boot met Obi-Wan's chin. "Don't get up, I know that I'm that incredible." He returned to his throne. I always thought how I will make you suffer, Kenobi, not kill. No, I want you suffer as much as I did. But then, bitch managed to run away, when her escape was nearly written on pieces of paper and given to every soldier under my command. She received help. After all, when 6 people have necks broken at the same time, it's either miracle or a work of the Sith. Imagine my surprise when I heard about Jedi with red blade clad in dark robes, who helped you on Onderon. So, he moved forward and his yellow eyes started to burn with unholy flame. I have 2 questions: who he is, and where can I find him? Kenobi didn't reply. Well, get him to his cell. We will speak again after I will have that cute little duchess in my disposal. Maybe when I slowly cut her flesh from her body, he will reconsider. With Javizo, Bo-Katan and Night Owls. Everyone remembers his or her role? Asked Javizo. Yes, and what about you? Asked Bo-Katan. I have a meeting near that strange wall with strange Jedi BAS, relieves. I don't believe that I'm saying this, but good luck. Thanks. With Maul. He felt a rising darkness. This overwhelming presence he felt only from one person. He returned to reality when he heard a snapping sound of the breaking necks. Then 2 guards fell near the doors. Large doors slowly opened, and like a part of darkness that he truly was, Darth Sidious appeared. Maul instantly kneeled before the elder Sith. Master, said he with respect in his voice. I was most impressed that you managed to survive with your injuries, said Darth Sidious. I used your training, Master, and I have built all this in hopes of returning to your side. Sidious moved his gaze from kneeling form of Maul to massive figure of Savage. How unfortunate that you are attempting to deceive me. Master? Sidious turned his back to brothers. You have become a rival. He instantly turned and pushed them into the windows with force push. Brothers tried to resist, but Sidious was too strong for them. Zobrix just helplessly felt how glass shuddered behind their backs. Sidious laughed and lessened his force. Maul and Savage instantly got to their feet and ignited their lightsabers. With the grace and skill of experienced magician, Sidious got 2 lightsabers from his sleeves. Maul nodded to his brother, and they charged at him. Sidious was old, but he was stronger, had more, and moved so quick that it looked like he danced on the floor. Like a mad artist, he left fire scratches whenever he went. He easily prevented attacks from Maul and Savage, like he knew where they will strike before they even thought about it. Sidious blocked Savage and Maul's attacks, blocking them with his lightsabers in different directions. He smiled and laughed. Dark side was boiling within him. There is nothing better for a Sith to kill a bunch of enemies wannabes. Meanwhile, Darth Javizo looked and bepised his opponent's style of fighting. Sidious was without a doubt a master. His swordsmanship already surpassed the art point, and get very close to legendary 1. He looked how Sidious easily reflected all attacks aimed at him. He also presumed that secret of his unnatural speed was usage of the Force, but it was a bit different from the one he had learnt on Korriban. He thought about combining secrets of the ancient and modern Sith. Meanwhile, Sidious and Zobrix slowly moved their fight to balcony. Maul followed him. He jumped to the barrier, and while Sidious focused on Maul, Savage used his prized horn ram move. Sidious made assault in the air and used force to pull brothers with him. All 3 landed near the entrance to the palace. Savage raised his sword and stabbed it into the ground where Sidious was seconds before. Savage instantly activated second blade to protect himself from being beheaded by Sidious' 2 blades. But Sidious was also forced to move one of his blades to block Maul's attack. He once again get away from their lock, but this time he pushed Maul into the wall hard enough for him to lose his consciousness. Savage raised from his position and faced Sidious alone, but his clumsy attacks were no match for Sith's speed. He easily dodged them, not even activating his lightsabers. Finally, he blocked his attack with lightsabers and kicked Savage into the knee. Sidious jumped over kneeling Zobrix and took his blades in reverse grip. He once again used force step and impaled Savage on them. That was what Maul saw when he returned to his senses. "Brother!" screamed Maul. Sidious pushed Savage's body into the air, while Maul ran and jumped down to his brother's body. "Brother, I'm such an unworthy apprentice. I'm not like you and never was. Dark magic left his body and savage oppressed died. Remember the one and only rule of the Sith. There can only be two, master and apprentice, and you are no longer my apprentice, you have been replaced. Mocked him Sidious. Rage raised Maul from his knees. With it he ignited his dark saber and engaged his former master in ferocious duel. But even with all his rage, Maul was no match for Darth Sidious. Mercy! I beg, have mercy. There shall be no mercy, said Sidious, while using Force lightning on his apprentice. But don't worry, I have plans for you, said Sidious, raising power of his lightning. Such a maniac, thought Naruto. He just likes his work, replied Kurama. Doesn't matter. I will not reveal myself today. Naruto returned to his and Mandalorian forces. Bo-Katan, get to him. Maul? Asked she. He will not bother us, replied Javizo. Good, then we once again will seize the power, she said. You had forgotten about Prime Minister. Bo-Katan cursed under her breath. I think it's time for tactical retreat. What do you think, Red? Bo-Katan raised her hand, signaling her night owls to retreat. Javizo stretched his arm to Bo-Katan. Redhead raised her brow. Come on, let this Sith be a gentleman at least once. Redhead smiled and took his arm. I hate you and your kind, Javizo, but you have your style. All in Mandalorian sector started civil war. Prime Minister maybe wasn't a warrior, but he knew how to play dirty, while Night Owls recruited Mandalorians all over the sector and brought different warrior clans to their cause. Javizo seek ancient arsenals and shipyards left by his ancestor, just to be sure, as Ghost once said. Young Sith was really thankful for this act of his famous ancestor. Without shipyards he couldn't continue his plans, but now he had several planets filled with junk metal in Mandalorian sector. Using said metal he could start building his fleet, but he still needed to start from something. Hence why he was in such situation. Are you sure that you want to do it? Asked Thrawn. Statement: That's a bad idea, Master. I know what I'm doing, replied Javizo. That's why I asked you for help. Through this ritual I may find the location of Katana fleet. We need this ship, but for this to work I need somebody to look over me so I wouldn't die from blood loss, said Naruto while he laid on massive stone altar and different packs with blood were attached to him. HK, medical droids? Statement: Check. Thrawn. I'm ready, said Chiz, showing ritual dagger and syringe with medicine. Good. Then syringe first. Weeks later, Naruto managed to return to his duties only after a week of rest. With his regeneration, it was truly a show of how much close to the death he was. But it was worth it. Thrawn already get the Katana fleet to their base. Dreadnoughts were stationed near tactical points, in other words shipyards where the first Star Destroyers were built. Naruto smiled. Star Destroyers. His Star Destroyers. He liked the sound of these words. Right now he went to the meeting of High Commanders. Naruto, soon to be appointed Admiral Thrawn, Duchess Satin and Bo-Katan cries. He sat on his seat and greeted his fellow council members. Good to see you all. Today we are starting the discussion about our future, said Naruto. Future? Asked Satin. Recent events on Mandalore showed us that we need fleet and army, if we need to stay neutral. I agree, said Bo-Katan. Bo! Cried Satin. Auntie, started Corky. He is right. We need army and fleet. We cannot stay neutral when war came to us. But, Satin, don't make me say it, but return of the military forces were one of my conditions. This is not the topic of our negotiation. I want to create an alliance of sorts. Alliance? Repeated Satin. Yes, alliance of independent systems. We will unite every neutral system. And our motto will be, if you want peace, be ready for war. That's good actually, commented Thrawn. Yes, we also have several problems. First of all, fleet. While we have Katana fleet, we still need more massive ships like Star Destroyers, and Admiral Thrawn needs his flagship, since I will not give up my malevolence. Started Naruto. While we managed to get a lot of Mandalorians on our side, they are good as raiders, not as regular forces, therefore we lack in ground forces and in trainers, who can raise the level of our men. Therefore the main problem right now is human resources. Any questions? Then on next meeting try to tell me how we shall deal with this problem. He rose from his seat and went to the exit. While I will go to Coruscant and try to get us new agents and allies. Coruscant. Jedi Temple. Naruto stood near his ship and looked at Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker. Recent events that had happened while he was fighting with death for his life after the ritual had shaken young Ahsoka's fortitude in being with Jedi Order. He looked how she walked away, leaving her teacher alone, but she still was raising her head high. Hey sexy girl, need a taxi? Ahsoka turned her head to see him. She could bet that he was smiling under his black helmet. Javizo? What are you doing here? I came as fast as I heard about your condition, sorry that I came too late. I haven't really high opinion about your master, but it raised tremendously after what happened to you. It hurts me to leave like this, but I need this, replied Ahsoka while bowing her head. Well, I need a trustful and skillful agent, somebody like you. For what? I need to stop the civil war in Mandalorian sector. And also find out what separatists need that strange project for. The Stargate program? Jedi Council decided to wait and learn. They always decide to wait, and even when they are not right they are not apologizing for their mistakes. What did they use this time? Hardship card. Yes, better Jedi than before, you are now, chuckled Ahsoka. Good old green dwarf. Yep. So what do you think? About your plan? I'm in. But I don't have my blades. Those ones. Like a magician he got them nearly from thin air. Just remember, Jedi isn't someone who lives in that big temple over there. Like being a Sith, it's a way of living. Ahsoka followed him to his shuttle. By the way, I took your old friend too. Old friend? Hey Blackie, where are my blades? No, groaned Ahsoka. Not her. Ahsoka, said none other than Asajj Ventress, who sat in front of Ahsoka with her legs crossed. Yes, interrupted Naruto. And we must get out from Coruscant, before Jedi will found that I bribed nearly all prison guards. Unknown time later. War with Prime Minister continued. Their stabs via squads of Mandalorian raiders became normal occurrence in recent time. Their war led to secret conflicts between Javizos and Prime Minister's spies and diversions organized by them. Meanwhile, Saturn negotiated with other neutral leaders. They were open for dialogue, but Saturn's status was rather troubling obstacle. Javizo needed army, and soon the chance came by. Strange activities in Republic Army got his attention. Clone killing a Jedi. Something like that doesn't happen often. Right now both Republic and Separatist forces seek answers, and the one responsible for this situation. Unfortunately, because of Master Shak Ti's exile, Kaminoans managed to clear nearly all leads. While Jedi Overseer was absent, Master Sakura couldn't combine all leads into one clear evidence. Rumors about it being virus started to spread, and it reached the ears of Tarkin. His hatred for Jedi led him to betrayal. He conspired with one of the Separatist generals, and through the bribing and forged evidence he framed one of the Jedi generals. He also managed to persuade the Senate that clones that came in contact with the virus host, who by his words was Rex, should be eliminated. Generals managed to protect their clone troopers, but Rex's most recent contacts were doomed. Beside his fellow clone troopers from his squad, he came in contact with 501st Legion. They weren't so excited when Republic commanders said them that they should be utilized. Doubts that grew in clones because of Jango Fett's genes finally reached their boiling point. Under the lead of Framed General, they rebelled against Republic, and after they took several Star Destroyers they escaped, but the price was high. Jedi who was with them received a shot to his chest, and Republic commanders thought that without serious medical aid, which he cannot receive on Star Destroyer, the story of Anakin Skywalker was ended by shot of unknown soldier. Or so everyone thought. Master! Master! Familiar voice. I remember it from somewhere. So tired. Sire, we need you. That one I know too. But, my head! Raise up, you good-for-nothing boy. That was... I know him. Javizo. Anakin opened his eyes. His world was now red. He saw Rex, Ahsoka, Javizo, and even Ventress were here. He slowly walked forward and heavy footsteps were heard around dark room. What has happened? Asked Anakin, looking at his arms clad in dark gloves. He didn't recognize his voice. You got a blaster shot to your mid-section. You nearly lost your lungs. Were it not for your force powers, you would be dead already. I managed to repair your body through the use of Sith alchemy. I created this armored suit, so you would manage to continue fighting, said Javizo. So what should I do? Asked Anakin. Anakin Skywalker will be officially dead for a while. He gave him a new lightsaber. Anakin activated it, and red blade emerged from the hilt. From now you will be known as Darth Vader, General of the Neutral Alliance armies. Clone troopers, after psychological therapy, started to train Mandalorian fighters and new recruits from other sectors. Meanwhile, Prime Minister managed to pull Maul out of his captivity. His most trusted commandos Gar Saxon and Rook Cass managed to get him out of prison, with help of Prime Minister. Unfortunately for the latter, it was the last thing he had done. Several days later he was struck down by Darth Javizo after the siege of the palace on Mandalore. Duchess Satin once again became the ruler of Mandalore, and Bo-Katan became commander of Mandalorian forces, Thrawn commanded fleet, Vader was commander of the ground forces, and Javizo was minister of espionage and counter-espionage. While Maul faced Grievous and lost, he fled for guidance to Mother Talzin, who gave him Night Brothers. Due to risky tactics he managed to capture General Grievous and Count Dooku. But because of Jedi intervention both managed to escape. During the battle Maul killed Master Tepley, but fled due to combined forces Ayala, Windu and Kenobi. In his final confrontation with his former master, Maul was forced to fled, while Mother Talzin confronted Sidious. She died in their duel. While Maul stayed on his base in Mandalorian sector, that was his mistake. Javizo instantly found out about his appearance. Vader's fist was sent to deal with his threat. Maul's forces were thin, since the betrayal of criminal elements. Only Death Watch remained. Vader found only empty base and strange ruins. He instantly warned Javizo about results of his search. Naruto instantly recognized the similarity between the ruins on this base and ruins from the Separatists' project. Day later. Okay, here is what we have. Maul escaped. His base located in strange ruins, the same where Dooku's private project is situated. Bam! Ahsoka rushed into conference room, breathing harshly. Esteemed Council, Jedi Order was banished from Republic. Part end. Tired of watching censored fanfics? Would you like to watch some very naughty, filled with the lemons fanfics without any censorship? I'm happy to announce that I opened Patreon page for you guys, where you could watch Naruto/Deku, 18+ stories without any censoring. Not only that, you can also see the NSFW images of characters of the fics on my Patreon, which I make by myself. So buy your preferred tier and join our community now. Link is in the description.